Whatever works for you.
Okay, well, at least it is running right now. I just have to try to find your freaking chat box. Okay? I'm sorry.
I understand.
It said it's entirely not my fault, okay? Let's stream. Okay, well, that didn't help any. Docs. Okay, docs, scenes, sources, audio mixes, chat. There we go.
Okay. Okay. Howdy, Foles.
Oh, now I'm going to get up and I'm going to change the past to the present, whatever. We got the pens down there.
Yeah. Not sharp.
Okay. If anybody shows up, just start talking.
Are we actually live right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
You live. We were live.
Not disagreeing. Yeah, so sure, four people watching now. Radio check, mic check. I think we're on the wrong mic. I think that's supposed to be a red light there and the other one. Not sure.
Says our mic.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sitting right here looking at it.
Hello, Chad. Cedro Woolley.
Hi.
I know where that is.
Oh,
I've actually
there.
sold kettle corn there. Absolutely.
We have been there. Cool. 72, 300.
Oh. Let's see. So anyhow, how's the voice and everything? We're still working on this new program and stuff. Okay, Chad. Anyhow, you're just as lost, huh, David? Well, I think
That makes two of us.
I think I'm more lost. Oh, that's one reason we're starting just a little bit early, is to make sure we got things functional by 6.
Well, this time we started early because the chat box disappeared.
Yeah, I know.
172, 332.
Doing just fine, Rock. Oh,
Hi, Rock.
that was that the thumbnail you put up there of the thing here?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that thumbnail pic was a pretty good example of veinlets and breccia, huh, Rock? Oh.
Yeah, that's a good looking dude right there. And I got some beautiful crystals that are...
Yeah. She's also cleaning up some crystals here. Oh. Yeah, things have been kind of busy. Finally got the impact mill working reasonably well. At least it functioned all day yesterday without a problem. I think, well, aside from redesign and rebuilding stuff, it was a prototype. Okay, it's the first ever on the planet, but learned a lot from it. But also, on terms of balancing the rotor, I found if I take off the belt after all the wear plates and everything are on the rotor and gently spin it and test it that way. Currently, it has a bias on it. One particular blade tends to wind up down. And so I bought some washers for the bolts for the wear plates and to tomorrow when we go out there, the plan is to, we better take that cover plate out there. Let's see, let me,
Oh no.
what? Oh dear.
Oh, Rock, that's awful. I'm so sorry.
I heard a pop, huh? So strange.
Wow, that's awful. By the way, Bear, our
Yeah.
connection absolutely sucks. Just so everybody
Yeah.
knows, the connection absolutely sucks, okay?
Come on. Why is it always gotta be difficult? Nothing can ever just work.
Oh, wow. That sounds like a really cool plan. If you want a piece of crystal, let me know. We've got several crystal clusters we could send up.
Yeah. Don't have anything much more in the way of anything special.
Yeah, I mean they're nothing super fancy, but yeah,
Could have been.
it's quite possible. I mean, that's just
Yeah, it can happen, and it does go real quick. And my aorta was in bad shape.
yeah, Rock. Just send us an address, and I can guarantee that I can't get mine nearly as clean as you could probably get them, but I will choose some pretty ones and get them wrapped up real well and get them in the mail for you. Would you prefer to clean them yourself? You can probably get them cleaner than I can. I can give them a preliminary clean, but
And how large? I was thinking of that one toothy one. You know, that was pretty spectacular there. Small crystals. You know what I'm talking about?
yeah, we've got that nice twofer guy.
Yeah, the one that's about that big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we can find him again, the guy that I called Crystalsaurus Rex when he's sitting
No,
just
not
right.
that one.
That one.
Not that one, the big one from that last group of stuff.
Yeah, that one's pretty
That's a
spectacular.
pretty large specimen, but I'll say, let us know what you think is the best to send. We have some small ones. We got one, say about that big, that's got a lot of, small crystals on it and stuff.
Okay, that sounds fine to me, Rock. I mean, we can always send you a gazillion pictures. We can send you video. We can do whatever you want in that regard. Just let us know what we can do to help.
Yep. So, anyhow, so the plan is I can easily balance the rotor in place to within a certain level of precision by simply positioning it, letting it go. If it turns, then it's obviously heavy on one side. If it doesn't, tap it one way, then tap it the other, see if there's a bias, and add washers until it gets rid. Oh, that's plenty of time then, Rock. Yeah, we could send you, depending on how you want to do it, we could ship direct to the recipient from here. We could ship it to you, however you want to do it. Just let us know what you want, and
I also have some other specimens that I didn't find.
say we can.
Like I have this beautiful piece. Look at this. Show them that.
What's that, labradorite?
Yeah, I have that beautiful piece of labradorite. Does not show very well on this camera, unfortunately, but it's beautiful.
Let's get a little better light on it. That's way too much light. There we go. That's better. Bet you I can do it behind. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would probably be good, Rock. We can do that. We'll have to get some pictures up. We'll send them to you. And we'll need to put a a ruler next to it for scale so that people can see. But yeah, we could.
I have an entire necklace made of labradorite. Not that I'm ever getting rid of that. He made it. But
Well, I assembled it.
yeah, I have that piece of labradorite. I also have several other pieces of. I have several other things in my collection that I'd be happy to donate.
Yeah.
And Lauren might have another piece like that one he gave me with the pretty crystals.
Yeah.
I can talk to Lauren. Let me get that and you can show it on the camera.
That'd probably be easier than not using the camera.
The newest one that Lauren just gave me.
Just
Wow.
a fasces there.
Yeah, apatite or something like that.
Appetite.
The color's not showing very well, but those are beautiful green, probably olivine actually, from the look of it. And I would love to see a bank. Well, I'd love to see a building that is faced in labradorite.
Yeah, it's kind of a peridot kind of green.
There's a company down in Tucson called Madagascar Minerals that makes composite labradorite countertops that are just stunning. Yeah, that's what Rock was saying. Anyway, that piece that he just held up is a piece that comes from a local mine here, and I believe that's either peridot or olivine in there. Very pretty.
Yep. The two may be the same peridot, may just
Yeah.
be gem quality. I don't know. Hey, honey bunny.
Yeah, honey bunny, that's because the chat had disappeared. The chat box had disappeared, and I had to figure out where the hell it went. So I started early to make it come back.
We're still learning how to use this new software, so better to be early than late. This week, we spent most of our time cleaning up stuff. There were bulk samples from this, that, and the other, and so we just were grinding them up and getting rid of them to open up the buckets. And
Hi, Brian.
hey, Brian. And so we don't really expect, hey, Mr. Virtue, not truly a professor, but I'll do the best
Yeah,
I can.
the green stuff is elongated rock. It's like little spears, almost like straws, but they're solid. They're very pretty. It's a very pretty rock. When I'll get you some better pictures of it. It's a good looking dude. Hi, Mr.
It's not
Lodak.
too much, yeah,
Yeah.
it's too much light there.
Do it from straight overhead, maybe.
That's minimum setting on the flashlight.
Yeah, it's a very, very pretty dude. It's a nice olive color, and they look like little straws in
Yeah.
that white matrix. Very, very pretty. We can ask Lauren again, too.
Yeah.
Hi, Mr. Lodak. Hi, Mr. Virtue. Brian, I had a question I was going to ask you about the glycine, and now I can't remember what the heck it was. How do you get stuff out of the glycine?
Yeah, how do you, what's the simplest way to recover precious metals? Eva was thinking of using it as a, for electronic parts. Okay. It's a green, like an epidote green rock. It does have kind of that
And it's definitely a gem.
fibrous, linear sort of structure, kind of like you'd get in a tourmaline sort of thing. You know how they have the long, slender fractures. Just precipitate with zinc.
Huh, that's cool.
Any special pre-treatment on the zinc needed? Or just little powdered zinc in there?
And then what, you smelt it? Or?
Yeah, then you dissolve the zinc and smelt. I'm glad you're asking John, honey bunny.
Well, I can tell you what that rock isn't. It is not
And
asbestos.
then wash with
That they do.
sulfuric. Yeah, the sulfuric will dissolve away the zinc.
Thank you, Brian.
Yeah, it looks kind of like tourmaline.
Well, I
It's
can ask
got an
Lauren.
epidote color to it.
I can ask Lauren. He did tell me when he gave it to me, and for the life of me, I can't remember at this exact moment. But I will take pictures of it so you have them because it's a very good-looking dude.
I think you mean upwind, Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to call Lauren and ask?
If you want to.
Here you go.
See if it's on.
So, anywho's, we weren't doing anything terribly exciting. Just, a grind, so to speak, if you pardon the pun, without really expecting much in the way of gold, because these were all samples that. Okay, Rock. But anyhow, we just wanted to get rid of all of them without just throwing away the stuff.
Well, actually, he's on the live stream. This is me. Anyway, you know that really
And-
rock you gave me, the good-looking dude that had the
Let's see
little
if we can
things,
see
the ghosts
this.
in him?
This
What
is solution
is
for the
that?
bottle
Because what's
holes.
going on here is one of Brock's friends just practically dropped.
This was the half-inch minus, and you can see it forms such a sludge that you can't even see the bubble in there. Well, that could be interesting, Brian. She's getting the information. Excuse me.
Is that the one with the white one with the green crystals?
So, anyhow, that's
Yeah, Lauren says it's got some copper carbonates in it too.
and some percarbonates,
Yeah, it's the one that looks like it's probably some form of epidote or
tourmaline.
the green.
Yeah,
Yeah, epidote. If you can find another piece of that, I would like it for me, but I'm thinking I at least want to enter this one and then I'll see if
So-
somebody wants it.
anyhow,
Because,
I thought I'd make a video on the how to do how I'm using that leach pad, not only to recover more gold from it, but also so I don't have to have any dewatering equipment. I just use gravity and time. And I hope that was understandable. Likewise, the sample preparation one, where we apply that methodology basically to everything to get started, and then we will tend to follow up on the things that are most interesting. And another thing we did this week, we went to the Helena Mineral Society meeting, their monthly meeting, and it was interesting, but it was also productive because somebody sent me they didn't send me he looked up and then gave me the name. It's a reference, something like metalliferous mineral deposits in the greater Helena area or something by Pardee and Schrader. And if Eva comes back, we can maybe see about getting the link to it. But it was interesting in that it's more detailed than other stuff. But what was quite interesting, no, that wasn't me, Kodak, that was Honey Bunny. She was asking about some kind of a solenoid relay or something.
And Lauren says absolutely auction it off if anybody wants it, and he offers condolences.
Okay.
So,
Little one,
yes.
if you get on the chat and it hit Control V, or what is it? Control V, you should be able to, in the check, Control V.
Control V.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. We shut the computer down before that.
Yeah.
Okay, so
what do you want? You want that
yeah.
that book.
Yeah, go to the browser thing. Last one on the list there. No, the list. See the double arrows? Yeah. No, that's Montana Cadastral. Double arrows. Last one down.
All right.
And then get the address there. Okay. Control C and then put it in. And put that in the browser.
Yeah, I know how to do it.
Okay, you know how to do it better than me.
Probably.
I hope so. Not to my knowledge. We were talking to Brian about how to precipitate the gold out of the what do you call it? Lysine solution. There we go. So that's the link to metalliferous deposits of the greater Helena area from Pardee and Schrader. And that gives you a lot of useful information. What's interesting is I had gotten some information in the past on some of the mines that we're looking at. And when I went to this document, it became clear this was the original source document. And the stuff I have was later, because certain things had been cut out. You know, and just little details were missing that were in the original one. And it was kind of interesting, but at least in one case, it was useful information. So that was an interesting trip. The organization is clearly a 401c3 or something like that. It's a non-profit, so they had to run things using Robert's Rules of Order and things like that, a part of it, and have reports from the treasurer and everything. It was very, very bureaucratic, some of it.
But that said,
on the other hand, we met some interesting people, and
I got a gorgeous crystal, which, by the way, does stand up on his own, you silly person. You just didn't even take a good look at this.
so I can make it stand on its own. I have a diamond wheel.
Isn't that a pretty little dude? That's a very nice dude. He's got gorgeous angels inside him. That's my new one.
So,
see, he made a mistake. They told me since we were new, we could choose any rock on the table as a welcome gift. And he told me to choose. So, naturally, I got this instead of something that probably would have been a lot more interesting to him.
well, I'd say there was a nice Galena cube there that was kind of cool.
Who knows? Maybe.
But so that was an interesting and useful thing. And that brings up the point that it can be beneficial to get a hold of that was free. Just for joining the thing, you know, they had a whole bunch of stuff there. It's like, you pick one, you know, because we joined up. But it can be highly beneficial to get in touch with the local prospecting clubs, mineral clubs, things like that. And if nothing else, just chat and talk to people and this, that, and the other. And it was pretty good. Also, I found out what a diatreme is. Although the guy who was giving that information was a little unclear initially on whether the diatreme was the mineral or the structure. So I asked him a question, and it was pretty clear. basically a diatreme, as I understand it, Brock, is the structure formed when you have an explosive
Yeah. Well, let me put it this way, Rock. To someone who does not see these dudes the way they really are, you probably could sell it for $100. To somebody like me, I looked at this dude and I said, it's too bad he's dead, but boy, he is still a really good-looking dude. So I brought him home.
But anyhow, so the diatreme is the structure formed under explosive, yeah.
Yeah. It's
And-
shaped like a carrot, according to the diagram.
Yeah, it's basically when you have one of these high velocity, gas driven volcanic eruptions, is how he explained it. And quite often, it's where you would find diamonds or stuff like that. According to him, there's a number of them in Montana. Closest one is just south of here. They have a mine called Montana Tunnels, which is mainly a big pit.
So, Rock, that dude that I just finished cleaning, thanks to his advice, look how clean that got.
Okay, let's see here. This is one of the ones from top of the hill, Rock.
That I just finished cleaning using your advice. He came out so pretty.
Hey, that's it. Right against my shirt. That shows it much better. But anyhow, that's one of the ones that Eva dug out of the dump there.
And after I used your advice, he came out so pretty.
Yep. So, anyhow, yeah, it is very pretty. There was another couple that were even prettier, but one of the residents here is having a few health issues. Eva gave them to him, and he very much appreciated them. It helped cheer him up. So I think Eva helps cheer him up. You know, he doesn't have anybody, and you know, got some health issues, getting kind of older. So it's she can be cheerful and stuff, and just cheer other people up. So you know, he really appreciates that, I think. But yeah, that oxalic acid cleaned it up just fine. And say we had a similar one, but the crystals were about twice as big that she gave to him.
And there was a really pretty one that I gave him that was smoky, but it was not smoky brown. It was smoky gray. It was a smoky silvery gray, and it was so pretty.
Yeah,
such a good looking dude.
It was it looked like a surface effect sort of thing.
But it wasn't.
But it was very pretty.
Yeah, and it was not a surface effect. It was a very soft, cloudy gray. Not purple, not brown, but gray. He was such a good looking dude. I did take pictures, but my phone just doesn't do him justice.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. So I did that. And
Oh yeah, I was going to ask Brian. I was going to ask what people thought about using metabisulfite. Does it only precipitate gold out of aqua regia, or can metabisulfite precipitate gold out of other shit?
Well, I find it very rewarding, Rock. You know, and there's something special about something that you found or you made yourself.
Absolutely.
You know.
Like the blankets, baby blankets.
Oh yeah. How long before they're done?
Oh, I could finish that second one tomorrow if I need to.
Okay. I was just curious.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's making baby blankets for Jimmy's grandkids.
Well, as soon as I finish it, I want to get them washed up and everything, and then we're going to want a chance to go down there, if nothing else, just to say hi and deliver the blankets.
Well, we could
Yeah.
maybe swing by Butte on the way back too.
Yeah.
To see the Bureau of Mines thing. Do some more research. But yeah, we're
Yeah, I have a lot of testing to do.
we have a lot of a lot of things. We'll probably be out in the field again this weekend, doing essentially the same thing, continuing at that disturbed area, and even we'll be digging stuff out. And
Oh, that's cool, Mr. Lodak.
yeah, yeah, and so we'll see if we can't truly find a vein in place. It appears that most of the stuff is basically just fracture filling quartz veins in that big belt formation. There's a mine. God, what's the distance? A couple thousand feet, maybe.
Brian's got a
north of us.
Yeah.
That had stuff running 5 ounces to the ton.
Oh, that's cool, Rock. One thing that, you see, my question was, what I'm looking for, I just wanted to try
I'll
it.
get to it in a second, Brian.
I just wanted to try it to see, you know, if it also drops gold out of other things. Because what I'm looking at is, as a side thing for our freaking leach solution, if there was a way to precipitate out of it. And I'm looking for silver now in the stripping solution, because the other day I was cleaning some debris and I accidentally cleaned the debris with well water instead of distilled water. And lo and behold, I see these little tiny curds like cottage cheese suddenly showing up in the stuff I was rinsing out with the well water. And I'm like, okay, I'm thinking that might be silver chloride. So I'm going to be running some tests, because we are not plating out of the solution very much silver at all. But when I chemically digest the free mill gold, the free mill gold is about 60% gold, 40% silver. So I know there's freaking silver in there, and I know from the lab tests we've done that there is silver in solution. It doesn't seem to be coming out. I want to know where it is.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that we'd like to do a lot more lab tests on.
Yeah.
With respect,
the well water is not chlorinated, but it might have natural salts in it anyway.
yeah. So it's not chlorinated, but who knows what's in the natural water.
Yeah.
In that area, there are some hot springs not too far away.
Yeah. They're drilling right now to get down to the hydrothermals.
Yeah. So anyhow, Brian, how's the vein? Well, what we were
Bizarre.
fairly confident was a vein
What you were very
before.
confident was a vein.
Turned out to apparently just be a pocket of quartz rock and material that had been moved before. And so we certainly could not find anything in terms of a contiguous vein into what was clearly defined as decomposing bedrock, or even non-decomposing bedrock. The information that we obtained from the document that we just put up there indicates that in that area, lamellar quartz and lamellar calcite seem to be kind of the key minerals that are associated with the metallic minerals, which makes sense, and also is consistent with what we found so far, although it seems more like the less disrupted quartz, the stuff that was apparently deposited fairly cleanly, not in a boiling water situation, not with calcite next to it or whatever. That seems to have the highest gold content so far, although it's still not high grade. But as I say, a couple thousand feet to the north of us is a mine that reportedly was running 5 ounces to the ton. So that's kind of, we're also planning this next trip to do some dowsing, both Eva and me, kind of on that one corner of the disturbed area that's brown. And we'll go douse over there, and then I'm just going to start trenching, because it looks like that area has very little ground cover over, very little loose stuff on top, and is the right color to be hosting some quartz.
Well,
we shall see.
I want to do some I wanted to do some dowsing again with with these different rods up there. Anyway, because I did before, and that's how I marked that trench area right across, right where you did your turnaround. I marked that I wanted to trench right across there. So I'm just going to start over on that far wall at some point. But first I got to dig into my dump some more.
Yep.
More of my dump has to disappear.
So anyhow, that's the basic plan for this weekend. Hopefully it's going to be relatively pleasant. Any idea what the weather forecast is for this weekend, little one?
I believe it's 70s and 80s down here. I'll take a look at that.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure the flies will be gone up there.
The flies will be gone?
I'm pretty sure.
Too bad. Did you get bit last trip at all?
No, I had one deer fly that I had to kill before it got a chance to bite me.
Yeah.
Those deer flies will bite right through 2 layers of clothing. So.
Yeah, I would agree that was kind of my thing too. That as far as I know, I didn't get bit at all. Although once or twice I had a deer fly trying to get a meal, but
Those deer
it was
flies are big.
unsuccessful. I remember killing at least one of them.
They are big buggers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're talking as big as my thumb, the top of my thumb.
So anyhow, that's our plan there. We've got some, if we have extra time, we've got some other exploration to do.
Oh,
in
don't forget the other
2008.
bizarre thing that happened.
What?
Got back some results, some numbers on the solution, the leach solution that we had used flocculant on versus leach solution we did not use flocculant on. Now, what's going on now in that regard is this new ore has a clay associated with it that is remarkably like freaking glue. We're talking, I need to scrape it out with my metal scrapers, okay?
No, after you centrifuge it.
Yeah. And
This is what she's talking about here. This is solution,
it does not come off.
and this was the half-inch minus,
And it's like pudding.
whereas this is what you get when you have the just quartz.
Yeah.
You know, this makes perfect sense.
Yeah, that
This stuff here,
clay,
there's an air pocket in there.
that clay is like freaking pudding, and it sticks to everything like glue. So at one point, I started using flocculant when I centrifuged my samples, so I can get a better result that I can actually read on my spot test. And then it dawned on us, maybe we ought to find out whether the flocculant affects anything. It did not affect my titration test at all for figuring out how much Eco Gold X we use.
Yeah.
However, it turned out that when we got back to 2 sets of numbers, same sample, one sample had been treated with the flocculant, the other sample had not, that we sent to the lab. The one that had been treated with the flocculant, the number was like 20% lower for the gold. So apparently the gold was in the clay. That's all I can figure.
Yep. So
I'm wondering if it ever gets out of the clay. I have been side-eyeing that clay since it started happening.
well, that's why I clean off that clay layer off of the
And
pad.
I'm wondering if the clay layer that we're building up those nice berms with is full of friggin' gold. That's what I'm wondering.
Well, it's kind of pretty easy to find out.
Mm-hmm.
All you got to do is take a sample, dry it, fire assay it. So, anyhow, that's kind of what we've been doing. And as you noticed in the videos, we have been getting the occasional rain shower too.
It's starting to rain right now.
Again,
Oh, I looked out the window there
earlier.
a minute ago.
He's going to see. We had a really nice thing last night over there. It was a rain shower. Sun was over there going down, so we had a nice rainbow and stuff. Pretty nice picture. I haven't loaded it to the camera yet. I mean, to the computer and actually shown it. But anyhow, it was quite pretty. Hey, Jean-Francois.
Hi, Jean-Francois.
Oh.
Yeah, lovely rock. Because that's what's been bothering me. He's sitting here building berms with that clay. And
Well, would you rather have me lay it out in the middle of everything to act like filter paper?
No.
Okay.
I'm just wondering how the hell we get the gold out of it.
I don't know if there's any gold into it. First, you got to fire assay it and find out if there is any gold. By the way, Jean-Francois, Eva's been having a little more challenges with her centrifuge here. Are those centrifuges going to be on the way anytime soon, or just keep on keeping on here? I'm just curious.
Well, as I figure it, Rock, since we got two different, since the test result we got with the flocculant showed 20% less gold in solution, almost 25% less gold in solution than the other one did that had not been treated with flocculant, my thought is that, the gold must be in the clay. Well, if I could treat several thousand pounds of clay with Dawn, I would.
The difference between metallic gold particles and gold complexes may be really substantial or may not. I don't know. But let's say you're just going to have to sit there and take some and
Honey bunny,
assay it.
this stuff sticks like glue to everything.
Mhm.
Get this. There was a piece of it that
Could be
had
right.
dried onto the rim of his hat that I broke off the other day, and it was literally shiny and polished on the edge and broke off his hat like a piece of plastic. This clay is ridiculous, okay?
Could be, which means we want to keep the clay away from the leaching system too.
Yeah, and I can't figure out how to do that since it's attached to the rock.
We got to clean the rock before we crush it. Thank you, Jean-Francois.
Yeah, this is probably I'm thinking micron stuff like we had at the other one, but different.
Yeah, I usually use for the panning that what do they call that stuff? My mind.
Jet dry.
Jet dry, because it foams less.
Yeah, honey bunny, the clay is catching the gold post flocculant, so I am no longer using flock to go with anything that's going anywhere for actual number testing to find out how much gold is in solution.
Yeah.
I am the only time I'm using no, Brian,
Brian.
we have 0 pyrites here.
Yep.
I wish. Yeah, jet dry is
Yep.
what we've been using.
So this all goes to show too that you assume nothing, test everything, and
And it's a good thing we're keeping that
whether or
clay.
not you think it's going to be a problem, find out first.
Well, it's a good thing we're keeping that clay, because if that's where the freaking gold is ending up instead of in the pregnant pond, I want to figure out how to get it
course.
out.
But again, I don't know what the situation is, but I know how to get the clay off of the pad.
Yeah. Well, that was another thing I wondered about Rock, because he does do a lot of panning to find out what's going on with stuff. And I had noticed that some of the samples he panned that were really clayey at first and never really got clean, the end result we've been getting later has been different. We're getting a lot of end results that are different from where they should be. And nope, none at all, Brian. I've got no sulfides anywhere.
Yeah. There was that unusual smell when I was sledgehammering that quartz. It wasn't real pronounced, but it was a slight odor of something.
Yeah.
Not
He
sure
did
what.
get an odor when he was wailing on the quartz with a sledgehammer. It was not almonds. It was not garlic. It was not sulfur. It was, the best way I can characterize it is a sweet odor.
Hey, Jim.
Almost a floral. Hi, Minor Jim. I'm going to have to try salt on a few things that I'll be testing separately.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Because this clay is ridiculous stuff. This clay hardens like
It's
freaking
pretty
plastic.
nasty.
It sticks to everything like glue. You cannot wash it off with water. It is bizarre and rather horrifying clay. It's really ridiculous.
Yeah. So I say, but we have found out that we need to
I don't know Kodak. It was a
find
very
stuff out.
it was a very a sort of a clean, almost a floral or a sweet smell. It was not almonds, it was not garlic, it was not sulfur. It was not any smell that I normally associated with rock. Okay.
Arsenic, Jean-Francois.
Yeah,
Arsenal pyrites.
Arsenic smells like garlic.
Smells like garlic. That last is really important, Rock.
Well, I'm not sure, honey bunny. All I can tell you is it's not a smell I have ever smelled coming from rock before. And it only happens
When you smack it hard.
when he smacks it darn hard with his cyanide produces almonds. Yeah, Brian, cyanide makes an almond smell. This smell, like I said, was a very clean smell, almost a floral, but not quite.
It was a light smell, too. It wasn't heavy.
Yeah, it was a very, very light smell, a very, very clean smell happened when the clean steel sledgehammer impacted the quartz.
Yeah, I'd say
Minor Jim, I'm going to be experimenting with the salt. I just have to keep it far away from my bleach solution, my tank, and anything that might have silver in it, but okay.
no.
Because this clay is driving me absolutely nuts. I am just convinced that,
I believe that's the hydrogen.
I love the smell of rocks when you break them, Rock Butcher. That's something I do all the time. Every time I break a rock, I smell it. They all
Jean-Francois,
smell different.
I believe it's hydrogen cyanide.
Yeah, I thought that would be the case, honey bunny, as to why you suggested it, and it was one of the things that. Now there's something I hadn't thought of, Brian, but that is a possibility. It was bright daylight, so I would not have seen if we had gotten actual sparks.
Yeah. It's a good point. We could try smacking it when it gets dark.
Yeah. We can try smacking someone that gets dark just to see. It doesn't happen with every rock. It's only happened a couple of times.
Yeah, it's not consistent. But yeah.
Jim, Minor Jim, it seems like all of us smell rocks except the
I can't smell doodly anyway.
bear here, but then again, he hasn't got a good sense of smell.
No. My smell is as sharp as my sense of
So,
sight.
Minor Jim, what have you been up to? I hope whatever it is, it's been going well.
Yeah. Oh.
You gotta smell rocks. I mean, they tell you all kinds of stuff.
I just hope we can find a nice ore body somewhere where we could focus on just moving rock.
I want to find a crystal garden. Hi, blind dude. I want to find a crystal garden. That's all I want.
Arsenal pyrite, I believe. No, sorry, HCN. I don't know what source mineral that would come from. Yeah.
I mean, I know.
I know it from leaching, where
Yeah.
you're actually starting with a cyanide. I would not know if you do produce that,
Well, it's in apple seeds. It's in peach pits.
but I do agree that the piezo effect might have something to do with it. I've seen quartz rocks light up, just a split second, but I mean, just taking them and throwing them out of a truck and then hitting each other.
No, did not smell like a swimming pool.
I wouldn't say so either.
No. That's definitely a smell I would have recognized.
But yeah, this is when I was busting up that quartz that Eva had gotten stockpiled.
Oh, man. A plumbing outfit stored porcelain toilets. Jeez.
Yeah. I don't know. But let's say, all in all, it's nice to get things tidied up.
Yeah.
Next week, we're going to do a bit of a study. The idea is Monday we'll dump the tank, and during the week, we will see how much solution comes out of the pond each day so that we can predict the flows through the pad. Clearly, it takes quite a while, in over a week, for all of the material to make it through.
Well, in bright sunlight, Brian, it can be hard to see the sparks. Because a lot of times they aren't big ones. I've only seen big sparks under certain atmospheric conditions.
Well,
With certain rocks. And
I didn't see sparks when we were throwing those quartz boulders. What we saw was the whole rock would light up.
oh yeah, they do.
And just a quick flash. But it wasn't like a spark somewhere else. It was just the whole rock would blink and blink. That's kind of cool. But anyhow, so I say next week we should be doing that study to see how fast the solution percolates through the pad. And that'll give us some interesting data.
Well,
Yeah, exactly, Brian.
Kodak, I mean, I'll tell you, there's an awful lot of clay piling up there. I've been side-eyeing it since I started seeing it because I get the feeling that
I don't
stuff
like
is
it
a
either.
problem.
I don't like it either. What I really dislike is the viscosity I'm seeing in the solution itself.
It's gonna wreck the pumps.
Nah.
Really? That is cool, Rock Butcher. No, Minor Jim, what we smelled from the rocks that we smelled this time is a smell that I've never associated with rocks before. It is a clean odor that is almost floral. It's a sweet, clean odor. It is not. It's not garlic. It's not sulfur. It's not almonds. It's not chlorine. It's not chemical in nature. It's definitely not a chemical odor. It's the only word I can put to it is clean. It's a clean, very slightly
Yeah, the ozone
like a
might make
breath
sense.
of fresh air.
That might make sense with the ozone.
Yeah, I'm thinking, I'm thinking that Brian might be right on that. It may well be ozone caused by a piezoelectric effect.
That would make sense. So,
Well, I think silver is a good breath of fresh air too,
so that's kind of what we've been working on in terms of cleaning up loose ends.
Yeah,
We
we're
have a lot of empty buckets now, which is good.
trying to get a lot of stuff cleaned up. There's a big mess all over the place. Really ridiculous.
We've been too busy. That would be plausible, John. I'm not sure, but we could tell a lot better if I was smacking them in the dark. And say, Eva,
Oh,
What
we
we'll
also
have to
canned
do-
up a bunch of salt. We also canned up a bunch of salsa yesterday.
Yeah. we probably have to have Eva hold a light, me line up the shot with the sledgehammer, and then she turns off the light, and then I whack it with the sledge. That would look interesting on video.
Yeah.
That would also be interesting to see how long the flash is.
Yeah.
To see whether or not the camera.
It
could
is my
reliably
thought,
pick it
if
up.
we want to do this, we should do it in like late afternoon, early twilight on one of those big dudes that's sitting down at the bottom.
Well, we got plenty of.
Oh, this was
source
not
pumps
super
out there
strong.
at the
honey.
ranch too.
Honey bunny, this was not super strong at all. No, gas meter has never gone off whenever we've used it, and this is open environment, so.
My gas meter has kind of lost its calibration. I need to get it recalibrated or get a new one. I like the way you call them the kids, Rock, because that's the same way her son calls the newbies that were hired over at the T in Boston. He calls them the kids, and he's what, 35?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Sometimes he calls them the ducklings too. Now that is almost, that's the smell I'm talking about right there, Jean-Francois. Sun-dried laundry. Pretty darn close.
Yep.
Pretty darn close to sun-dried laundry there.
Yeah. Yeah, we can definitely.
Kodak, I'm already looking at grabbing a sample of about 1 or 2 pounds of that disgusting clay, drying it, and messing around with it from there.
I can easily, when we go to dump the tank, we've got the cover peeled back, and that one corner there, I can easily get some stuff out of there.
Yeah, I am already looking. I'm planning on grabbing 2 or 3 pounds of that clay, just getting it aside and drying it and seeing what the heck is going on with it. I don't think I can do the precision assay I need to see whether there's gold in it, but I'm going to be playing around with it to
Why
find
not?
out.
If it's gathering gold from solution, it should be well over an ounce to the ton.
And then if it is, we got to figure out what to do with it. So.
Well, first you got to figure out
Soak
whether
it in
there's
salt,
something
maybe
to
the
it.
gold would precipitate out. That would be funny.
Relixify. So, anyhow, I'll say we got lots to keep us busy. I probably shouldn't tell him about Saturday, huh? Let's just say we had an interesting situation Saturday that took up most of the day. So.
Well, in theory, Brian, and technically the clay has been leached because it comes out of the freaking tank. The problem is nothing goes through it.
Well, it does very, very slowly, but that's why I keep scraping it off.
It is absolutely horrible stuff. This clay is beyond belief in terms of horrible. Okay, it's ridiculous.
Let me.
Jean-Francois, absolutely. Yes, and he's about to show you here. This is beyond a slow self-filter. This stuff is literally like pudding. As in pudding.
Is that showing on the camcorder?
Yeah. And that's a lot more viscous than it usually is. I mean, that's a lot less viscous than it usually is.
And then it can get, yeah.
Yeah. The stuff I was playing with the other day was literally like chocolate pudding.
By the way, this is a 2 parts solution to 1 part or mixture. So that gives you an idea just how thick it gets.
Yeah, it's positively horrible stuff. That is a possibility as well, honey, because I have not smelled anything when he busts tree roots, but he has had to bust a couple of tree roots that were in place. Yeah, it does almost remind me of a ceramic clay, Brian. It's a very fine-grained, very slippery, very pudding. It's got a silky feel to it.
Well, Jean-Francois, I think that on the whole, we can avoid a lot of the clay by simply going to, in this particular case, where the gold seems to be concentrated in the quartz itself, by restricting ourselves to relatively clean quartz instead of dirty material, we might be able to mitigate the situation dramatically.
Yeah, if we can wash the stuff.
You know. And so that's a situation. You saw one road trip, but not the other. I presume you mean you saw one video, but not the other, Mr. Virtue? Sugar to the goo. Okay. While Eva talks to you for a minute, I got plenty more goo out here. And we'll see what happens.
Brian, you can't decant this stuff. Trust me. I have had more problems dealing with this crap the last several weeks than I can even begin to describe to you, because I'm the one that has to do our spot tests. I'm the one that has to do our tests on the solutions and the chemicals. And the other thing that is really annoying the hell out of me with this is this whole new ore thing. I don't know whether it's the ore, the clay, or both. It is very much acid.
Do we have any actual sugar?
No. Our Montana B ore was mildly basic, so when you added the Eco Goldex to it, I never had to add lime. In fact, sometimes I had to worry about the pH going a little too high out of the range. What's going on now is exactly the opposite. I am having to add lime to try to get my pH in range, because when my pH drops, we're seeing ridiculous amounts of consumption on the Eco Goldex that makes 0 sense. It's not corresponding at all to what you would expect for the ore or anything. And it's just absolutely ridiculous. It is just... This clay does not filter. It does not decant. It does not like to get off things I mean, after I have centrifuged my sample, I have to sit there with a metal scraper and try to scrape it out of the darn plastic tubes. And then I'm sitting there shaking my tube full of water and using my plastic bottle brushes, my tubes, on the freaking plastic tubes to get this clay out of them. I can't get anything clean. This crap sticks to everything.
Okay. If you want to get out of the seat for a second, I can show
He's
them what
back.
we got. Apparently, we do not have any sugar in the house, Jean-Francois.
We never have sugar in the house. Why did we have sugar in the house?
Let's see.
That's poisonous.
Here's what this stuff looks like.
And that's when it's being liquid.
Okay.
It's not normally that liquid.
This is 33% solids. If that gives you an idea, the viscosity, you'll notice it just doesn't drip to clean it. I don't know, Brian. Yeah, that would suck, Rock. What's new? So, aside from sugar, is there anything else? I can try putting in some Dawn. I think that's Dawn over there.
Not dishwashing over this month.
Yep, that's Dawn. So what do you think? Throw in a little bit of Dawn? Yeah, almost Jean-Francois. What do you think? Put in some Dawn, or do we have what other suggestions do we have?
We've got Morton's light salt.
We have Morton's light salt.
Half sodium, half potassium salt.
You know. So say we could throw salt, light salt in there, sodium, potassium chloride. Don't have any aluminum sulfate.
At least if it is bentonite clay, you can sell it.
Yeah, not clean enough, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, it's horrible stuff. Somebody wants it, they're welcome to it.
Hi, Shiny. We're trying to figure out how to turn this stuff more liquid. Try and get the crap to settle out. What do you think, Rock? Do you think jet dry or Dawn dishwashing soap that would maybe do some useful things?
Salt.
Yeah, I can try some with salt too. Pepper and cheese for good measure, huh? Well, just some jalapeno jack. Okay, let me put a little in here and agitate. Hold on just a second. Well, I just had a lid somewhere. Any idea where the lid went?
Nope. I have to touch it.
I had to take it off. So I've put a little Dawn in here. Hey Lars, how's it going on? Aside from a little foam on the top, I don't see any difference yet. Give it a little bit, see what happens.
It takes forever for flocculent to work on that too, by the way.
Yeah. That's good, Lars. No earthquakes or fires yet, huh? uh, what time is it here now? 7, huh? Okay. So anyhow, we're just having, you want me to just agitate like the bejesus? Rock? I was trying to avoid foam, but if you want me to get more violent, I can certainly do that. Waiting for your instructions, Rock. Shake like a son of a gun. That's not peanut butter, Shiny. Siloxane? No, haven't tried siloxane. Well, in this case, the PGMs should be dissolved already. They're not solid particles anymore in theory.
Well, the whole thing's pretty dang ridiculous, I can tell you that.
Yeah, it's less than ideal. But I say, if the gold was concentrated in the clays, then we'd have a lot more problem than concentrated in the.
What?
Nice one, Shiny. So, as I say, in theory, everything should be dissolved.
In theory.
Let's see what happens here. Got a lot of foam on it. Then we're into the liquid. Don't see a lot of difference at this time. I'll let that sit for a while and check it out later.
Well, I'm pretty sure you can let it sit for weeks and it would still be like pudding.
Yeah, this is less than ideal. Absolutely. Any thicker at the bottom? Not that I noticed, Brian. That's why I'm letting it sit now. It's 7 o'clock. We'll see what it's like in about an hour. Read the comment above about calcium. Jean-Francois. I see from the dawn, Jean-Francois, a smiley face towards rock. Calcium in the ground is what turns clay into soil. We'll try calcium chloride or some other calcium salt.
We're about to do a separation test, huh?
Calcium chloride, huh?
This stuff is absolutely horrible.
We can do a calcium hydroxide without a problem. It's easy for us to find.
Huh. Brian Smith says Miralax.
Could be. Wouldn't be useful in a production setting, but it might be helpful in the lab. Don't know.
What, Miralax?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe it's magnesium.
I wrote down a note, Jean-Francois. I don't have any calcium chloride around here. We do have calcium hydroxide, lime, at the lab. I don't think we have any here.
No, we don't have any lime here. I had it here and I sent it back to the lab.
Yeah.
Has to be a water-soluble ionic form, huh? Okay.
Well, calcium hydroxide is a little bit water soluble, and it's definitely ionic.
I don't think we have any calcium chloride anywhere.
Nah.
I have sodium citrates. Does anybody think that would work? Hey, it makes great cheese sauce. Anything that makes cheese sauce, it's got to be magic, okay?
But, yeah, calcium chloride, that's used in a lot of
that's
ice melting stuff.
It's not doing anything except smelling really bad.
Yes.
You gross smellies.
They would sell it to you in totes, huh? Wow. Bet you the employees like to fill up their foam bottles from it. What the heck does a tote of Dawn dish soap cost?
This is the operative question.
Let's see.
And how long does it stay good for using for washing dishes? Because if it's cheap enough and we had a place for the tote, then, Murphy's oil soap, that's a possibility here. That would be magnesium chloride, I believe, Johnny.
They have used calcium chloride too. Magnesium chloride is more common because it's cheaper and it already comes liquid usually as a byproduct of salt production from saline evaporation of saline waters.
Good night, Rock, and do send an email.
Absolutely, Rock. You get a good night's sleep. So,
well, while we're talking about other common household chemicals, does anybody have an opinion on whether Epsom salts would have any effect on breaking down clay? Because I got Epsom salts in the house.
Then we got Epsom salt. That'd be magnesium sulfate.
Yeah.
Magnesium would be double.
Yeah.
Is it double negative? No, I think magnesium's one.
One toad's good for about a week, huh?
Okay. Oh, why is it never simple?
Oh, well. How about Calgon? I got Calgon in the house, too. I have no idea what's in it. But
Calgon bath oil beads.
Calgon, take me away. Calgon, conquer the clay. I don't know. Just a thought.
That would be good.
That would be funny as hell. That's what that would be. That would be as funny as finding out that the bacon grease was good in the gold pan. That was funny.
It worked.
Mm-hmm. You think I'm joking? I'll try Calgon. I'll try anything at this point.
Anyhow, so that's kind of the status of where we're at here. And we've got a We got some.
No idea,
to look at.
Jean-Francois. All I know is that it still comes in a box and it still makes good foamy bath stuff.
And so we got some exploration stuff to do too. And hopefully we're going to have that mill whipped into shape.
I have no idea, Jean-Francois, because I never read the box. And yeah, the gold prices have been amazing, Shiny. I was going to go check the price again. Cemethicone. Yeah, that's what Honey is recommending. Yeah, Shiny, the gold prices have been interesting, and I think silver's about ready to get on the move again, too.
Okay. So Calgon has,
Take me away.
and I quote, sodium chloride, sodium sesquicarbonate, sodium bicarbonate, fragrance. Apparently it's bilingual or something because it says parfum in parentheses. Aloe barbadensis, aloe vera, leaf juice, deacolorized, mineral oil, tocopherol acetate, vitamin E, red 33, blue 1, and water, also known as aqua and eau. Okay. So salt.
Yeah. Come on, take me away.
Yep.
Yeah.
Huh.
Shiny, I got some nice silver here recently, I will tell you that. I'm gonna go find that so I can show it off because it's kind of funny. Did I do with that, you little guy?
Oh. Uh-oh. Let's see. Somewhere out there ought to do it.
Now,
Okay.
it should be noted that I never buy American Silver Eagles. Because, well, I wouldn't buy them from the Mint anyway, because the Mint is operating illegally, hiding and charging extortionate prices, etc. But they're backing up the truck at the local coin shop because amazing prices on silver. Oh, and they have that funny yellow metal too, but who cares? Anyway, I don't know how well the picture will show here, but somebody had bought in a collection of American Silver Eagles that were all toned, the modern mechanical toning method, so to speak, not natural toning. Now, as I said, y'all know I do not buy American Silver Eagles normally, but I got it for a good price, and the toning actually looks pretty on this one. Does not show very well on camera because, light and everything's bad, but if you take a look, it's got this pretty rainbow just right around the side, and then on the back side, right around there. So, nice looking. So I said, okay, I'm a sucker for toning. I don't normally buy manufactured toning, but this one looked really pretty. Honey bunny, the only thing I will call tarnished is the black toning that happens, when you've got too much chlorides hanging around, okay? I like rainbow toning. I like rose toning. I like light chocolate toning. I do not like the black tarnish. Not my favorite thing. But anyway, yeah. I actually bought another Silver Eagle. This brings my number of Silver Eagles up to 3, and all of them are toned. 2 of them naturally, 1 done on purpose. So that's the way that goes. And yes, Jean-Francois, fractional is less than an ounce. I do have some Speaking of which, recently I got some very nice fractional silver. It is some safety rounds. They were given as employee, rah-rah things by Northwest Gas of all people. So I have to find out the whole story behind those. See, you're one of those people that likes your silver to be silver, and I understand that. A person that I trade silver with on a very regular basis in Tucson, Arizona, likes his silver to be shiny. He knows I like natural toning under certain circumstances. Not on everything, but some things is like, and yes, Dean, fractional, technically 90% silver coins do kind of come under the fractional department, but no, constitutional older coinage and older sovereign coinage from elsewhere in the world would count as a fractional. And I do own quite a lot of it. By the way, just for those who like to shop, in most parts of the country, 40% Kennedy half dollars are still the red-headed stepchildren of silver. You can still buy them in my neck of the woods for melt, not spot, melt, at my local coin shop. And my local coin shop is also selling me U.S. commemorative silver dollars, the 90%ers that are slightly less than an ounce, for $20 a piece. I'm getting those puppies for just slightly over melt. So I'm happy. Very, very happy. Shiny ST bullion is great. I personally don't buy online. I buy with cash, in person only, because I value my privacy. To me, it's worth it. And, Kodak, yeah. Wow, honey bunny. I found, the last coin I found in the wild, I believe, was a 64 Roosevelt. A 64 Rosie, and it was like, I found a wild Rosie. Ooh. But anyway, I'll be right back. I gotta show you my other bargains.
No, Eva never buys off of Craigslist. Again, she prefers.
I go to my local coin shop. They treat me like gold. Anyway, so what we got here, I got a 2023 Cook Islands, which is really cool. And I got 2 silver dollars. One is the bicentennial 1987 of the Declaration of Independence.
Interesting, Brian.
And the other is the Ellis Island Statue of Liberty. That's just kind of, which, I only like those because I can get commemorative silver dollars. Oh, Jean-Francois, there will be no Chuck number 3 in this house, okay? I love Canadian coinage with any effigy of Elizabeth II on it. I love Edward. I love George. There will never, ever be Chuck number 3 in my house. But yeah, these buggers, you look around in the wild and you may find that your local coin shop is selling those commemorative American silver dollars for, like, I paid $20 for the dang things. So I basically paid melt. Now, the deal with these, the United States Mint, that extortionate, illegally run operation that we have that claims to be a mint that is actually ridiculous, okay? the United States Mint puts out commemorative silver dollars. So like, for instance, the one I got for Ellis Island is a commemorative silver dollar. All of their commemoratives carry a special premium on them. I've got one for Louis Braille. I got a couple of other ones like that. And you should open a coin stock signing, absolutely. And commemorative silver dollar series are usually limited to a mintage of 400,000 total at most. A lot of these never even make it to 400,000. A lot of them have some extremely low mintages in what you would normally call the most common coin. Normally when the mint does a run on silver dollars, they'll do a huge amount of coins that are not in sets. And then they'll do very limited edition sets, like 2 coins in the nice little box BS thing, okay? That's not how it works with these guys. With these guys, the plain, not in a set type things are usually the lowest mintage. I have one, I believe it was actually the Braille coin that I have, the Louis Braille. It was the first instance of Braille being put on an American coin. That coin had 23 different mint products associated with it, as in the coin in a box with a matching keychain, etc., etc. And the lowest mintage in the whole pile was the plain, uncirculated, encapsulated one that I got. And I got it for $20. That's one of the things you have to look for when you're looking at fractional coinage, when you're looking at a mint product. Because the United States Mint is operating like they're extortionate and they operate illegally in very, very many ways. And no, I don't have Twin Tower coins yet. I want some. You know, just saying. Wow. Dean, I would have loved to find one of those.
What does VDB mean? Wish it was a VDB.
That I'm actually not even remembering at the moment. I just would like to find a penny that old. Yeah, Joan Francois. I had heard that.
Clumpy.
Ugh, yes. It's gone clumpy.
I put some salt in there.
Yeah, the salt made it clumpy. Weird. Okay. I know about that, Jean-Francois, and apparently over in England they have the same kind of thing where there are certain coins that you have to pay sales tax on and other things you don't. It's really funny. And it's also kind of depressing. I would love to get some nice English sovereigns. Okay, they're so pretty. But if you're actually gonna look at mint products, that's what I look for in terms of fractional mint products. I am one of the very few people in the world who appreciates and loves 40% Kennedys because I can get them at melt. You know, these silver dollars have become a recent thing I have started grabbing when I find them because I'm getting them at melt. I got this beautiful Cook Islands at a generic price because I got lucky. Also this week, I picked up this pretty trade unit. She's a seated Liberty on one side and Type 2 back. This particular trade unit, the other back is laurel wreath with a shield. This one is flowers with the 1 troy ounce. So it's a nice little thing I found here. Oh man, ew, gross. Nasty, Jean-Francois.
Yeah, Jean-Francois, I added some light salt to it, and now it seems to be clumping up.
The other thing that I got this week that I love, this is a Freedom Girl. If you want to open that for me, Bear. At melt means the value of the silver alone. So like, for instance, normally if you buy 90% coinage, you buy old 90% quarters at a coin shop. They'll tell you you're paying 22 times face value or whatever. Right now, $1.40, the first thing you need to know about 90% is $1.40 worth of 90% U.S. coinage is equal to 1 ounce of pure 3/9 fine silver. Okay, so 20 times face value would be $28 if you bought $1.40 of this. So you would be getting, if the price of silver at the time were $25 and you were paying 20 times face, you'd be paying $28, so you'd be paying $3 over spot. That's the way you normally do it.
Can I make a simple thing? Let's suppose this is
clumpy sludge.
1 ounce of silver. I'm presuming this is this is 99.999. If the current price was $28 an ounce, then at melt this would be $28. Okay.
Yep.
Now you're almost always going to pay a premium because the guys who buy and sell coins like to make a profit.
Right now at my store, Dean, 90% is going for 22 times face. However, my 40% Kennedys are going for 7 times face. $3.50 each. And there have been a couple of times recently where the melt value on one of those buggers was $3.65. So I was getting them for below melt. Now this is Freedom Girl. Freedom Girls are put out by Silver Shield. They are a very nice, smaller private mint. They're one of the prettiest coins out there. They have a collector premium on top of the standard generic. Some of the Freedom Girls are quite valuable. I personally love them. This little bugger that I got today is an HM. It's heraldry mint. And this one happens to be the Italy. Yep, that's about normal at the moment, Dean. That is about a normal spread. And yes, rounds can be easier to trade. Carson City, the only Carson City I have is my Morgan Silver dollar.
I think what he is asking is, can you buy them in Helena?
We see them very rarely. I wish. They're way, way expensive too.
So far, the sludge is clumping now after I added the light salt to
and
it.
this one here is another interesting dude. This one is a bicentennial from Tri-State Refining that is quite nicely toned, actually. Tri-State Refining had several backs that they used. This is one. This is one of their more common ones, and it says finest purity, honest weights, because that's what they believe in over there. But this is an old coin.
That seems to be happening, Brian.
Yeah, it seems to be happening, and it's a good thing it's happening. No, we just have to hope it doesn't mess with any gold or silver that's in that stuff.
The thing is, we don't have regular salt, so I put in light salt.
In Jean-Francois, we also have what we call a decoy stack. Decoy stacks are where you have coins out in the open that are packaged in such a way that they look like they're valuable, you know, like they're inside the little cardboard holders, or they're in a tube, or they're in a little thing that's marked with dollar signs that aren't worth shit. But your average thief is going to think that they're worth shit, and they will steal them. So.
Okay, Brian, so I put a 50-50 mix of sodium chloride, potassium chloride in there. I'm not sure if the potassium ion does the same as the sodium. I would think so. Chemically, they're quite similar. But it's definitely clumping up. Let's see if I can...
Yeah, it seems to be clumping. Oh yeah, even clumpier than it was.
And if the light can get in there, you can see there's now solids in the bottom.
Yep.
It's not liquid anymore down there. So it did seem to be doing something.
And you need to open this for me.
Okay.
So I'm actually thinking I might actually put it in a regular capsule rather than one of those that'll fit. Yeah, it's amazing how that stuff is beginning to clump up. It's the liquid itself is not getting any clearer though, which is kind of funny. At least in my estimation, it's funny.
It looks fairly similar, I will agree.
Yeah, that particular type of capsule annoys me. I'm gonna put those in here.
I shall get my sharp knife out.
No, we're not making chocolate malts. We're working with something that has become the bane of my existence, which we will talk about again now since you missed it. The current ore is associated with a clay. Hi, Shaggy. The current ore is associated with a clay. This clay is evil clay from hell, in the sense that it sticks to everything like glue. It is extremely viscous, meaning half the time I am trying to do tests on things that are the consistency of chocolate pudding. I can't clean it off any of my equipment. It is extraordinarily annoying. And the worry here is we recently did a test. We decided to send a tank sample of our leach solution off to the lab to be tested. And the lab guy had mentioned this stuff was a pain in the ass to work with. So we packaged up 2 identical samples, save one thing. One sample we treated with the flocculant that I had in the lab. The other sample we did not. Well, the flocculant worked great at getting the clay out, but
To settle.
getting the clay to settle out into the bottom, nice and clean, so you could, pull off some nice clear liquid. The problem was, when we got the lab results back, there was almost a 25% discrepancy. There was 25% lower gold values in the liquid that had been treated with the flocculant, which led to my concern. I have been side-eyeing this clay ever since it started showing up and saying, why do I get the sad, sick feeling that clay is trapping the gold? So that's what we're trying to figure out here. One of the things we're trying to figure out. Anyway, I have now showed off my coins, and Pete showed off the clay. It's apparently beginning to behave itself.
I'm not sure of which discussion you might be talking, Mr. Virtue. We're experimenting with some of the slurry that we did in a bottle roll because something in it really makes it very viscous. We think it's clay, but that's an assumption, and we were trying various suggestions as to what might assist with getting rid of it. And we tried Dawn dishwashing soap, which didn't seem to make a lot of difference. Then I put in, the best thing we have for salt here is what's known as light salt. It's half sodium chloride, half potassium chloride, and it definitely seems to be clumping it up. I mean, it's looking almost like cottage cheese in the bottom now. So I'm going to let it sit like overnight or whatever and see if it actually clears up. Oh, good point there, Mr. Lodak. So, Mineral Society, we got a tip to find,
Get this one open.
look up a particular reference that turned out to be kind of useful. So we're suggesting it's a good idea to make contact with your, kind of local clubs and stuff, so that, you never know what kind of information you may pick up that could be useful. And in terms of the pad procedures, that's the video I posted today, maybe yesterday, not sure. That on how we dump the material on the pad, let it soak through, and then scrape off the clay layer into the berms, and then do it again. And the sample procedures is how we usually deal with samples. Again, because I spent a lot of money on an RC46 years ago, I have the capacity to pretty easily deal with, samples, multiple bucket-sized samples, by crushing them, splitting them down, and pulverizing them and stuff like that. So that was the video I posted before. I posted 2 videos so far this week, and that were the subjects on those. The one on sample prep, some of the stuff will be pretty easy to apply for other people. Other stuff, because we have the crushing equipment, which a lot of people don't have, may be less useful. But say we crush that, and also we're doing a situation where we'll take the stuff that we jaw crush, and then if it's got any gold in it, we'll generally just process it. Take care, John, in order to deal with it. We don't just want to throw it away. And we'll just clean out the sluice on a product by product basis. A little bit showing the whiteboard view. Hey Chris, how's it going? You know when we're here.
Yeah, and
The camera got whacked. I know. Other way. Right about there. I got it.
hi, Chris.
How you doing? So I say that's what we got going. This week we're getting rid of a bunch of basically leftover samples, processing them, putting them all in the same batch because it doesn't really much matter. It's all a mess. Yeah. Calcium chloride vinegar and Epsom salts, huh? That was a piece of lightning, I think.
But I think it was our light
I
there
don't know.
that keeps doing that.
It could be the light.
Well, the last thing I want is for it to get jelled. Oh man, Chris.
Well, at least you're able to deal with it, Chris. I'm pretty much helpless when the computer is less than cooperative. Oh. So, yeah, we're planning on heading back out this weekend and doing more exploration up there. And then next week we'll be doing a percolation test on the pad. And we'll get some numbers there as to how fast the solution. Because right now, due to various delays, we basically, the pad is drained. There's
Peroxide and muriatic acid, huh?
liquid in the circuit itself.
See, that's that light right there.
Is that one? Okay.
Yeah. Peroxide and muriatic acid, huh? That's interesting.
Yeah. In the case of aqua regia, use nitric acid as the oxidizing agent and muriatic acid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyhow, That's kind of
So
what's,
do you precipitate the gold out of it once you extract it using it?
probably. Sodium bisulfite should work just fine on that.
And that was the other thing that I wanted to figure out if there was a way we could test.
What?
That stuff is iron out.
Yeah.
I wonder if it would pull the iron out of our resin cartridges.
Okay, you don't want to use something that precipitates gold.
Yeah.
To lixivate gold.
I understand that.
Okay. And so it seems highly unlikely.
I'm saying once the resin is stripped, when we regenerate it, I'm wondering if you then subjected it to metabisulfite, would it clear the iron out of the resin to open up more space in it?
I have no idea. I wouldn't think so. But it's hard to tell. The sodium hydroxide doesn't do too well.
Yeah.
And it should. Anyhow, so that's basically one up over here. Oh, oh my goodness.
We've got sodium metabisulfite around.
Where? Iron out, maybe.
It's the main ingredient, the iron.
Maybe. It's not pure though. So I don't know if it matters.
No, Dean was just asking about it.
Yeah,
and I think we've got some others somewhere.
You could also bubble sulfur dioxide through it too.
Yeah. So you might want to mention that too.
Getting sulfur dioxide a little bit complicated. Not horribly so, but can be. Okay. Any other subjects anyone want to bring up? And go from there. Can you try purifying it again by dissolving it in nitric? Let's see, what would you do? Yeah, if you dissolve in pure nitric, then the gold should just remain as a residue. Oh. Put the camera on the mud. Here it is. Still pretty viscous and clumps. See how big some of those clumps are. And I don't know if you can see there's still stuff in the back. This does an amazing good job of maintaining its body. This does not want to settle or do anything like that.
Yeah, for real. You know, the flocculent.
Hey, Heather! No, it's Heather Brown.
Yeah.
I got a daughter named Heather Bowen.
Well, I'm just glad to see we got another chick around here. We are very highly underrepresented. So stick around, Heather.
Uh,
Well, the problem we're having with it, Brian, is when I use my flocculant on it, for instance, to do my testing, I need to have a clear fluid. You know, if I'm doing a titration test or I'm doing a spot test, I need to have a clear fluid. I can spin this stuff in the centrifuge for literally 45 minutes, and there will still be clay.
well, we need to try treating it with light salt or salt.
Yeah, and hopefully
Do
that
you have
doesn't
any
affect the
light salt?
gold.
I know, but first you got to see if it does any good.
I have regular table salt, ionized and non-iodized,
Okay.
that are sitting over at the lab. Plus baking soda, which is, you know, sodium
Hey.
bicarbonate.
Brian,
No,
doesn't that get complicated?
Heather, you can definitely stick around and ask all the questions you want, because we chicks are hardly underrepresented around here. The dudes tend to forget that we're a lot smarter than they are. But, you know.
But anyhow, yeah, try using salt as a flocculant then. See what happens. Try some toothpaste, huh? That'll be next, I guess. Oh, I'm trying to find something that'll at least flock it so that we can deal with samples on the laboratory scale. Oh,
Oh, I tell them on a regular basis, Heather, I am the tinfoil hat goddess. Not that that dude over there ever listens to me. The one that's on camera, supposedly.
yeah, you gotta switch. There we go. Now they can see me. Well, one time, my ex-wife name was Laura. One time we had a house guest named Laura. And so my wife's last name was Bowen, and the other one was Adkins. So we had a Laura A and Laura B.
Oh, that's a little bit ridiculous.
Can you run black sand through a gold jig right from the beach? You could try it. It would certainly, go through. I don't know what the recovery would be. One thing you can do with black sand is slurry it up so that everything's in individual particles and magnetically separate at least that part of the black sand. That's pretty easy to get away from the gold. In my case, I don't have a lot of black sand, but I do have a lot of tramp iron from the impact mill, and it works fairly similar. But it's pretty easy to get rid of with the magnet. So I'd go with the magnetic separation first, but you don't want to do it, when the stuff is just laying there in a mass.
Speaking of keeping densities consistent running over jigs, that's one of the reasons that I'm beginning to think we may need to have to start washing the freaking quartz before you crush it. Because I'm not particularly liking that clay going over the sluice either.
I don't either. So that's why we put all the weird shit in one batch. Now we can go out and do something else.
Oh, Heather, you like beautiful rocks? Have I got beautiful rocks around here?
Show her that last little crystal cluster you found. But
Here. You
see, that's,
start showing this one off.
that's one
I'll
reason
go get one of my other little
we
guys.
took the all the weird stuff and put it in one batch so that it won't screw it too much up. This Eva found the other day, Heather. That's one of these crystal clusters. It's associated with the quartz that is actually, This, if we had a bunch of this stuff and crushed it up, we could get some gold out of it.
Yeah, you may be able to show this one off. That one's a
Yeah.
pretty crystal.
She says she's coming to visit.
Oh, well, I'd be more than happy to show off all my rocks.
And here's
I have mini rocks.
some more little forest of small quartz crystals here. Got any more?
Show off this guy. That's my Smoky dude. Smoky.
Yeah. This was not from where we are. This is something she just bought.
That's from my crystal garden.
And that looks like it's been polished. Yeah, that's been polished.
Yeah.
That's not a natural surface there.
That's from my crystal garden. It's one of my pretty guys.
Yeah. But anyhow.
I'm showing this one.
Yeah, this doesn't show up too well. It's got some green crystalline material in there. Not sure what it is. Epidote.
Lawrence
The
said
presumption. Okay. So, yeah, when we're out there, Eva's going through an old dump here and picking out the crystal clusters and separating out the quartz itself. I can see this thing. Can you get me the picture of the that we did this morning? I'm not this morning, this afternoon, with the little veinlets. I think Heather might appreciate that.
This one right here?
Yeah, that one. Okay,
Hold
Heather,
on. I've got to get
Oh.
back here so I can get it on that screen.
what you're looking at is the kind of greenish and tannish material. That's the wall rock. That's the main bedrock in this area. And it's silt stones and mudstones, sedimentary rock. You see, it got fractured, and then solution with quartz came through and literally cemented it all back together again into a single rock. So this rock would be called a breccia, meaning it was broken up at one time. But it's also those little veinlets. That quartz all has gold in it. Now, not high-grade gold, especially when it's diluted with all that wall rock, but on a larger scale, that is how a quartz vein forms. And in a lot of places,
Oh, it's not limonite, Shaggy.
a lot of places,
Shaggy
what?
Shaggy asked if it was limonite. It's not limonite. So
No, it's just siltstones, sedimentary rocks. Limonite is oxidized iron pyrite. But if you just increase the scale to something a foot or more across for each crack, that's how you get quartz veins with gold in them. And that's what we're trying to find in this particular area that we're looking at, is to find these, some significant quartz veins with decent grades of gold in them. But that's kind of a small scale of what we're looking for in the area. And generally, you will not actually see the gold in the rock. It's usually too finely divided. It's hidden by the rock and everything. Now, if those were larger veinlets, you might actually see what Eva calls toothy critters, and that's where you have quartz crystals growing in from both sides to the center. And so it looks like teeth in a jaw.
toothy dudes.
Yeah.
By the way, Mr. Lodak, This is the weirdest part about this clay, okay? I agree with you. I'm to the point where I want to start washing every damn rock we bring home, okay? You can wash these rocks for an hour in a bucket and the water will not run clear. How many times have you tried to get the water to run clear when you're panning this stuff, Bear?
Oh, not too hard. Yeah, let's go ahead.
Damn it.
Trying to rearrange things just a little bit here.
I mean, I cannot get them clean, but the other funny part about it is they don't look dirty in the first place.
Yeah, it's siltstone, mudstone. Look up the Big Belt Formation. That's what it is.
Montana is beyond gorgeous. I love it up here.
Yeah, similar to geodes, Honey Bunny. No, that stuff in the last rock you showed.
Yeah, it's not limonite. It's what is the matrix on that epidote, dude? I believe it's quartz. I think it's quartz matrix.
Well, that looks a little different. That's not your hexagonal.
Yeah.
Quartz veining. I'm guessing feldspars and such, but I don't know. I have to scratch it to find out. No, silt. S-I-L-T.
I'm
Mr.
getting it
Virtue.
right now, dude.
So, yeah, the this whole area was under an inland sea before life, and as such, we have these large sedimentary deposits, which unfortunately don't have any fossils since they were Precambrian, which is probably a good thing for Eva's productivity, because it's easier to get her to dig through stuff looking for quartz crystals and keep moving than if she was looking for fossils.
Some of us are very productive. Thank you very much.
Yeah, well, if every rock you were looking at might have a fossil in it, how fast would you be going through them?
Do you think I have not been looking at them every single time, just in case?
Yeah, but if they were, you have to bust them open and everything else. Yep. But anyhow, so say where we're at, that's basically the host rock. So, you got a good one that's easy to get of the one of the quartz ones. Do you have anything with toothy dudes or just decent quality quartz there?
Not that I know of. I didn't send you any with my toothy dudes.
Yeah, that one that wound up in the bucket.
No, I wish the mud had turned into gold, Kodak.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you right now, I am pretty damn sure that that's where a lot of our gold is getting stuck, is in this freaking clay. Which means I have to figure out how to get it out.
Let's see, how's the... Yeah. Lumps.
Well,
It's
we don't have a Mount Baker, we don't have a Mount Baker shaker table handy. It's not like we have one hanging around.
It's not going to be gone, and it may still stick to some of the finer gold, but you'd have to use enough water and possibly some additives to make sure the gold was not sticking to the clay and the clay was not increasing your viscosity to the point where it's affecting things. I agree with Eva. The clay in the fine stuff is too much, and so we need to selectively separate the quartz from the finer materials to keep the process going properly. What?
It's even when we were growing up.
Yeah.
And it looks nice.
There was some mud in the actual quartz itself too. Yes, that's from decomposed, weathered minerals. But there's a big difference between that stuff you saw there and this stuff here. See how thin that is? See how that air bubble just goes up there? That's quartz, And, okay, give me some toothpaste, little one. Whatever.
There you go.
Okay.
And the point of the toothpaste?
I don't know. It's got something in it.
It may not if it's crassed.
I don't know. He said toothpaste. He didn't say a specific kind, so it must be something that's in all of them.
There's a big difference between Arm & Hammer with peroxide and crass. That's an example.
Well, Heather, we have a lot of official subscribers, but not a lot of active participants on our
Which is why we like new active participants.
Monday morning live streams. To say right now, for example, we're showing 18 people watching. I've got it set so that every chat is visible to me. In terms of super chats for donations or whatever, if you want to donate something, you can go any of my videos, my actual videos, will have a little thing in after the title page that shows our Patreon and our PayPal accounts.
In which we prefer PayPal.
I say, if you want to donate something, you can go to PayPal or not. We're doing okay. We do not use the YouTube channel as an income source. Okay? And that's because we like to do mining and we like to help people. And if we had 20-some thousand subscribers, I don't know what they are, and had one of these live streams, boy, it would just be zooming by. There's another guy who's got a good YouTube channel called Flower Girl Wizards, and Jason had, this was a while back, but he had, I think it was 7,000 or 8,000 subscribers or whatever. But he's monetized and stuff, so YouTube will push him. But anyhow, he was doing his first live stream ever, and I thought, oh, cool, I'll log on, to make sure he gets some people. Man, he had 140 people on all at once already. And it's like, that's what happens when you monetize the channel and you push the algorithms to try and optimize that. It works. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm retired. We live very frugally. And thank you, Cutthroat. Thank you, Heather. But we like to help people and do things, not play algorithms and stuff like that. So,
But don't get us wrong. People like Jason and Jeff Williams, etc., are absolutely amazing at what they do. Did we have any results?
Oh yeah, we got some results.
Uh-oh. Oh, man, it turned back into chocolate pudding.
Oh, no, it's real pudding now. Yep.
Oh,
yeah, that toothpaste didn't actually seem to break it up too much, Chris.
Well, it might have been the brand of
I mean, I can actually see texture on top of the level down there. It's that thick.
Oh, great. Hi, Cutthroat.
That's not what we were looking for.
Okay, so we're now back to chocolate pudding. Add water.
We're already at only 33% solids. How much water are we going to need to add? I'm thinking, looking at that, Uh, we need to add another 5 times the amount of water or something. Well, flocculants, you kind of stick them together and get them to sit. I'm not sure. It's more like what starch does to gravy. Let's see. In case you're wondering, Heather, this is actually ground rock in leaching solution that was part of the test. Just add water, huh? Well, let's see. Little one, can you see if you can find me a ring and a lid for this size
Oh yeah,
thing?
I'm talking to one of your viewers who can't. Here, that should be
Okay.
it right there.
Well, then this should get us 1% solids or less, because I added quite a bit. It's clearly fluid now. Okay, we'll see whether that starts to settle.
Yeah, well, I wanted to know if I know how to do torch out.
Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it, Heather. We do try and have fun.
Agglomeration, yeah, that's the word. What I want to try is cold gold agglomeration. I don't know if it will work.
Let me wash my hands real quick, and we'll see what happens there.
I'm telling y'all, this clay is ridiculous, okay? I will figure this out. But it should be noted, hi, Red Wing. I haven't had a chance to look for any of your new videos yet. I really need to catch up with my videos. Here he is. Well, it's already been leached once, right, Brian? It's in leaching solution now. The problem is that for some reason it's getting stuck to the clay. We got to figure out how to fix that.
Yeah.
That's the next thing to fix here. Many things must be fixed.
Anyhow, Heather, this illustrates a very important principle. Whenever you're dealing with new processes or new ores or anything like that, always test it on a small scale first. Because when things go awry,
Well,
it's cheap.
the
when
way
it's
the
small.
system is set up, Brian, we grind the stuff up, then it runs over the sluice using leach solution and right into the tank.
And
So,
with good clean quartz, we seem to be getting well over 50% recovery in the sluice itself.
hi, Bob, sorry you had to do that. No idea what's going on with that chat half the time.
Yes,
Really?
Heather, since you're new here, the gold in hard rock is very, very fine. This is, oh, what would that be? 400 mesh, what's the normal size? Is that about like powdered sugar?
Yeah, powdered sugar is larger than 400.
You think so? Anyhow.
Anyway, we're talking talcum powder and smaller.
Yep. I don't think the chunks will work too well on the leaching or the sluicing, Brian. I don't think you can sluice pudding very well. But anyhow, so I say when we get a new ore or try a new process, we do it small and then try different stuff and get it to work on a small scale and then scale up. And quite often when you scale up, you run into other problems too, just purely because of the scale. But anyhow, so I say that's kind of our show and tell for tonight. We're trying these things. I don't see it. Yeah, it's settling a little bit there, Chris. I can see a little bit of solids on the bottom.
Yeah, I've got plenty of really cool pictures of crystal in my phone.
Well, I'm not shaking it. I'm just looking at it, Chris. I wonder what this is looking like now. Thin peanut butter.
Yeah. I don't think we're getting any closer. I mean, we'd have to pour 10 zillion tons.
So anyhow, we'll see in the morning whether or not that's settled there. Yeah, well, the beads are much richer in gold than this is, Brian. But who knows? Glycine might not have the problem. Again, every time you change anything, Heather, you never know what's going to happen unless you really know what you're doing, in which case, a lot of things you don't need to test. Now, I'm kind of a jack of all trades, master of none. And as such, I mean, I can understand what some people are telling me here in general, but I'm not in detail. But I can do a lot of different things. And so a lot of times I just try it on a small scale, see what happens. It's somebody asked me, when I said, they asked me a question, well, why don't you know? And I said, if I knew the answer to that question off the top of my head, you'd have to pay me a lot more money because that would be a true expert. I'm a miner. I'm a handyman. And I'm one of the best kettle corn cooks in the world, which is of limited usefulness in most situations. Well, Mr. Lodak, I'm thinking that it would be a little too much for process and might be flammable. But internally that it might make things more interesting. So I say, yeah, honey bunny, we're ever together and I've got just minimal cooking equipment, I can make it happen on a stovetop. Yep. It's I did that, let's see, from about 93 to what? 2020? So 2.5 decades. Yeah, I got pretty good at it. Gold just dropped below 2,500, huh? Don't know if that would work for the kettle corn, honey bunny. At least the stuff I make. But I can do it in just a standard Teflon coated, like 10 quart, pan. Heather, Eva is very sensitive to carbohydrates. It really does affect her seriously, puts her into fibromyalgia. And so she has to be extremely careful with carbohydrates.
I eat keto. Real food is cheaper than diabetes meds.
Yeah. And
we sold kettle corn in Tucson, Arizona, Dean.
Yeah. Wild West kettle corn. My kettle corn has been to Afghanistan. Somebody that lived in Tucson liked our kettle corn, moved to London, England, and we shipped them, I don't know, 3 or 4 packages before they stopped sending it. It's pretty expensive to ship a 1 cubic foot package to London, England, even though it's fairly light. But when I say I'm one of the best kettle corn cooks in the world, I'm not joking. And The stuff to Afghanistan, that was to some soldiers, and the lady, uh, she asked, does it ship well? And I said, yeah, if I double bag it. She goes, I'd like to buy 20 medium bags. So I asked her, where's it going to? And she said, Afghanistan. I said, I'll be happy to make it, but I'm not going to take your money. She said her son was very popular when it arrived. And we had kind of a standard thing that if somebody was going to send it to a war zone, we'd provide the any reasonable quantity of kettle corn for free, and just a very small thank you for what they do. Yeah, I agree, Honey Bunny, and relatively undamaged. Alive is not adequate in and of itself. And not just physically, I mean mentally too. And when we bring them back, let's spend whatever time and effort needed to reconfigure them for civilian life again.
Dude, what do you mean she can't even make a cardboard pizza? I'm sure she can make a cardboard pizza. Hello? We make very good pizza, actually.
Yeah, we make keto pizza. Yeah, I also came up with a recipe for French toast that has very low carbohydrates. What about 1 gram per slice?
No, that's because we've got keto bread.
Yeah.
Not everybody can eat that, though. I mean, a lot of people are sensitive, serious diabetics.
Or something like that? Or
yeah.
what?
No, actually, T2 diabetes is a very individual thing.
Huh.
Like some T2 diabetics can eat the tapioca starches. I can't. I cannot eat anything tapioca. So.
Yeah. I agree, Honey Bunny. I've always been, actually, we've both been different, non-average, call it abnormal if you will. We just think a little differently than most people, not in a bad way, but I look at a lot of people and I'm going, huh? What the heck?
Hi, James. How you doing tonight?
So, we both just kind of do our own thing and try and enjoy life and each other and everything. I mean,
we now looks like we have a severe thunderstorm warning coming on.
Yeah, Heather, because I'm basically retired. And we do, we live very frugally.
Saturday and Sunday it's supposed to be raining.
The two are not mutually exclusive, Chris. We can both be. But anyhow, so we get to go out in the wild, in nature and do things we like to do. Be out by ourselves and this and that and the other. Eva's a real blessing to me because...
Thank you, James. Thank you for being here.
I mean, just like the other day at the mill, I had a pipe fitting break and I got sprayed with slurry in the face. And my first reaction, even though it wasn't hurt, it was only one eye that got splattered and my eyelid had closed quick enough and I had a hose to clean off if I needed to. My first reaction was to yell out for Eva to get her there in case I needed help. It is so...
And yes, we are living the dream. I highly recommend sane people move to Montana and become gold miners. The nutballs, the leftists, Montana's full, you can go away.
Yeah.
I don't think we have any nutballs watching at the moment.
Yeah.
But
anyhow,
just saying.
It is So
we are blessedly minus leftists around here, I believe.
it is so comforting to know that she's there in case something goes wrong. Um, it really is important to me.
See, there's a trick to that, Dean. Y'all need to
Get
master
it later.
No. Y'all need to master the 4-day week. Yesterday, today, tomorrow, and whenever. That way you never have a Monday. I haven't had a Monday in years. Calendars are a social construct, one I choose to ignore.
We got quite a few wash bottles on the laboratory bench there, Chris. And when I'm in the mill, I've got a charged hose.
Yeah, well, you couldn't get to your charge hose.
Oh, yes, I did. You never had to touch anything.
Yeah, but he does have a point. We probably ought to get a bottle up there.
Why? I say, the charged hose worked fine. The main thing is can I deal with stuff by myself? That's why I need you. You know? An eye wash kit would be covered with dust.
Yeah, this is true.
You know?
Everything else gets covered with dust.
Yeah. And so, as I say, it's the sort of thing where when we're out in the field, the fact that there's two people makes it so much more safe. When we've got cell coverage, that helps a lot. But I mean, the other day when I was going to set some
That's something
corners.
that never changes, honey bunny. I mean, take a look at everything going on right now.
But anyhow, I was down in a spot where I had no cell coverage. It was pretty rough terrain. Eva couldn't have kept up very well. It would have been too much for all of that. Although she would try. And I had my pistol with me, and so we planned it all out ahead of time, and 3 shots 10 seconds apart meant for her to get on the phone and call in rescue.
Provided I had signal.
Yep. Well, if you had the quad, you could have got up to where you could get signal.
Yep.
But I mean, that's the sort of thing that, yeah, it's really important to me. Hey, Joe, how's it going?
Living with alcoholics in general sucks rocks. Been there, done that. Had a t-shirt.
Yeah, that would not be good. My ex-wife had some issues.
Yeah.
And
Putting it lightly.
it could be worse. And
yeah, the one that came after that shot at you was worse, I
yeah, that was
believe.
just a girlfriend. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bullet whizzed past in the head there. But
Good for you.
I say,
He has terrible luck with women.
until now, be careful what you say there, little one. But anyhow, so
What do you see?
well, that would be terrible, Heather. Well, that's kind of a precondition for everything else, honey bunny. Yeah, that would get really tiring, Joe. Yep. So, that's it. I don't know. I've been in some less than ideal situations, but my ex-wife gave me a couple of good daughters, and one of them gave me 2 grandkids, and ran into Heather and Eva, right parietal lesion. you know? So, anyhow, say,
Anywho,
we're doing great now. We have a good time. And even though I think Eva puts up with more than I do.
well, yeah. That's always the way of thinking.
Yep. But we have good lives, and we're happy to do what we do, and we don't want to fuck it up by worrying about the money too much.
Well, I mean, that doesn't mean that donations are not extraordinarily welcome at all times. And the goddess also likes to get rocks in the mail.
Yep. But
I'm a fan of rocks.
to make a short story long, that's what we do. we're just living life, and keeping it simple so that we don't have to worry about stuff. So our stuff doesn't control us. We control our stuff. With the exception of...
So how's the clay doing?
I don't know. I'm trying to see how much is sitting on the bottom. Yeah, more and more stuff is settling to the bottom there.
So how have you been, Jeff? Doing anything interesting mining?
Yes, but the question is, Honey Bunny, are you still voting Democrat? Just because you're dead.
I would love some agates. Agates are beautiful. We're probably voting Democrat in Arizona. Are you forgetting? We still
No, I'm not forgetting. Yeah, we're probably still on the list, even though we have tried diligently to get off of them.
I'm probably still voting Democrat in Washington State along with Arizona. But that's just, you know.
That's the way life is nowadays. So anyhow, so that's kind of our life, Heather, and we're doing fine.
So it should be noted that I am going to try to get some better pictures of my crystal clusters so I can show you guys some of these cool crystal clusters I've been finding, because everybody thinks of ore as being this dirty, buggy thing all over the place. You know, but in our particular case, as I was telling somebody just a little while ago, every ore is different. And the ore that is proving to be the ore with the most gold in this particular location doesn't look like it at all.
Yeah,
It's
not your typical
pretty
stuff.
quartz. Looks like bowl quartz almost. Heather, who you vote for and who you actually get written down as voting for are two entirely different things. As someone who has
Thank
been
you,
a
Heather.
victim of voter fraud 3 separate election cycles, I can tell you that.
Consecutive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, the problem with the clay, and I want people to understand why the problem with the clay is, I have no objection to the clay itself. My objection is that the testing that we did on the leach solution that the clay happens to be in indicates it is quite possible that the clay is dragging the gold with it. So, you know, that's what I have to figure. Well, yeah, obviously, Shaggy. I'm on dozens of lists. Wow, Jeff. Storage trailers are interesting things, but yeah, 2 buckets of con and a snuffer bottle, that's cool. That's it.
Hey, Heather, would you
If
like
they
to
were
see
good
this
cons.
tinfoil hat?
If they're good cons, that's an excellent thing. Oh, I voted Trump last time. In 2016, I went down to vote in person for Donald J. Trump in Arizona and was told, oh, you already voted by mail. So I had to vote provisional. And a week later, they called and said, well, your provisional ballot was accepted. And I said, well, what happens to the other one? And they said, ooh, radio silence. Same thing happened in 2020 with our midterm and, 2022. But yeah, I mean, this is the way it works. Well, that's the problem, Chris, is I've been watching him pull this clay off our leach pad. None of my testing is coming out the way it should. None of our cartridges are coming out quite the way they should. So I've been watching him scrape up that nasty clay that dries to something remarkably similar to plastic and pile it on the berms, and I'm wondering how much gold is in that clay. Just saying. Yeah, caliche.
So we were at his last rally in Bozeman.
Oh, the Bozeman rally was amazing, except for the fact they did not know how to control the lines. So
yeah, that was.
We just barely made it inside. I mean, there were less than maybe 50 seats left when we got inside. We were way up in the nosebleeds.
At least we were close to the concessions.
Honey Bunny, I knew he was going to win the first time I saw him in Phoenix at his second rally ever. Then in 2020, when dude over here was saying, oh, Trump's a shoo-in, I said he's going to win, but he's never going to get in office, which is exactly what happened. We're waiting to see what happens this year. I'm keeping my mouth shut because I hate being right all the time. But anyway, that is the thing with this clay. I need to find out whether there is gold in this clay, so I'm going to be doing some assays on it. Because if the leach solution is liberating the gold from the rock and then the gold is ending up in the clay, I need to figure out how to get the gold out of the freaking clay.
Keep it from getting in there in the first place.
Or getting it in the first place.
Oh, I think he's gonna get the whole number of
wins
legal
has next to nothing to do with who actually lands in office at this point. Just saying.
Yeah, I don't think it has to do with. I think he's going to get the most legal votes.
Yeah.
But I don't know how many ballots are going to be.
Yeah, you need to
for him.
fix the tinfoil hat. That's why it's not here.
Good Lord.
Uh-huh. Yeah, Jeff, that's what I've been looking at. I've been side-eyeing this clay from day one because I'm like, I don't like this clay. There's something about this clay I really don't like. And, well, yeah. Joe, we all know that they've been fixing elections for decades anyway. But that's the thing, Jeff, is I have been looking at this since he started, since the clay happened, okay? I've been side-eyeing this clay as it's been landing on those berms, and I'm like, I'm thinking that the gold that's not getting out the other end to where it belongs is probably sitting right there on those dang berms. So it's going to be a pain in the neck. And yes, it is who counts the votes, or in this case, which machine counts the votes. Hi, Shane. I don't know if Kamala Lala Ding Dong is going to make it all the way to November.
I don't think so.
We have a few issues.
I think they're going to have to replace her with someone too.
I mean, just saying, we have a few issues there. But that is the thing when it comes to the clay.
Agreed, Joe.
That is the thing when it comes to the clay, is I'm pretty darn sure the gold and probably quite a lot of silver is stuck in the damn clay. And yes, the hat helps. Note the brass, the brass deflector bow here is absolutely essential. Good evening, Shane. If anybody has any mining questions, so we can stop being like all conspiratorial here. Well, yeah, notice somebody who was closely associated with them recently got themselves in all kinds of trouble. Well, actually, Brian, it is designed to intimidate federal, three-letter agents. It's very good at discombobulating bureaucrats. They take one look at it and they're not sure exactly how to deal with it, so they disappear. Just saying. Oh, Kamala has been quite fascinating to watch, I will say that. She's just bizarre and unaccountable, you know. And yes, you have to have your claim work done before September 1st and have paid your assessment fees. Please remember also, people, you want to, every single year, go out and take pictures of your claim corners that are GPS stamped and time stamped and date stamped and all that. Make sure that you check this stuff at least once a freaking year. Because just the other week, we were driving by one of our claim stakes that is out in the open, unfortunately, on the quad, and lo and behold, somebody had very carefully and very neatly removed
The tag.
the tag. And that's the thing. You need the biggest nugget we ever found.
That was that one with Chris?
Yeah, the one up at Chris's place, and it was a little itty bitty picker. We're talking what, a tenth of a gram, maybe?
I don't know. I don't know if you remember that, Chris. You got a better idea, but yeah, it wasn't very big. It was a picker, but
Yeah,
not a big one.
since we don't do placer and we don't metal detect, we don't normally find nuggets, you know?
Yeah. We usually just wind up with a whole bunch of fine gold.
Yeah.
I mean,
But I mean that's the thing. This is the time of the year when you need to be doing your claim work. You need to be checking your corners, checking your monuments, having documentation, video documentation, photo documentation, that your shit is still there. Because people always mess with this stuff. And it's becoming more and more prevalent. Yeah, that is literally the one we found when we were up with Chris. Was the biggest nugget we ever found. It's a itty bitty thing. Kind of
Yep.
cute. You know?
on the other hand, I've seen multiple grams in a pan before,
Yeah.
but it's all, 40 mesh and smaller.
Well, we do hard rock, so we don't run into nuggets very often. I would like to get some more time with Placer. He did dredging a while back on the middle fork of the Boise River in Idaho one year. So
even then, it was just flakes and everything.
Yeah.
Nothing was that big.
I mean, it's not like anything big. But yeah, this is definitely the time of year when you have to do that. And we can expect to have more problems with paperwork as well, because the BLM is still not done, apparently, updating all their files and all this new stuff that they have going on with their website. And a lot of the other sites that people use, like My Land Matters, because the BLM is still behind schedule, we're now seeing more and more second order effects from that, where the other websites that take BLM information, like My Land Matters, are not as up to date as they normally would be. And with the rising prices in gold and silver, we are seeing more scammers showing up on YouTube and elsewhere that are going out there and paper staking or just plain claim jumping, whether they know they are or not, and selling and flipping claims. I've had several people contact me recently asking, how do I know whether I should be buying this unpatented claim for whatever? And it's like, no. Automatic no. Out the door at this point until you know exactly what's going on. And yeah, mine flippers. People that are mining, people with dreams.
Dean, as far as I know, the answer is yes, you can dredge in Montana, but I'm not certain about that. Are you aware?
I'm not sure whether you can or not, and I don't think Miner Jim is on here at the moment, but I don't. Was Dirty Goat dredging up there? I don't think he was dredging.
he was high banking there. But, high banking with a loader and excavator and stuff. But I'm not certain.
Yeah, I mean, he can look it up while we're talking here.
Oh,
But
really?
that's
You want
the
me to get on
thing.
that computer?
That is the thing, is that, here, look it up, use your thing.
Do I hit?
Yes, just act as though you're going to somewhere. Go do your thing. Anyway, I cannot see the chat box right now because he is looking something up.
Excuse me.
But with the rising prices in gold and silver, I have been hearing from more people online that people are out there, even on freaking Craigslist, selling mining claims. And unfortunately, a lot of people either A, don't know to do their due diligence and check at the local county recorder to find out where claims are, or B, they're just out there claim jumping. You know, they see a set of stakes. I mean, last year we had that one dude that on one of the claims we had attached his paperwork on our discovery where our up-to-date paperwork still was. Okay? This is going to become an increasing problem as the price of metals rises, because you have all of these Discovery Channel shows that make it look like you can go out and hit the mother lode, which we all know is a bunch of BS. Okay? You have a bunch of people that want to make money because everybody needs money because inflation, etc. And you have a lack of even the basic competence from the federal government. What else is new? Why we have to give BLM money in the first place when they don't do jack shit is an entirely other conversation. It's an entirely different conversation here. Okay? But be that as it may, we're supposed to give them money once a year. And they don't do shit to earn that money. Ever. They're doing even less than usual, which does not surprise me in the least, because they have zero incentive to make life easy for us. They have a great deal of incentive to make life very difficult and unpleasant for us, because they really don't want us to work, which is one of the things we need to be very concerned about, especially in an election cycle, because the way things are going, if the current administration stays in there, there's going to be a lot of issues.
Okay.
Did you find anything?
To answer your question, suction dredging does require a suction dredge permit, which is administered by the Montana Department of Environmental Quality, Water Quality Division.
Yeah, okay.
Okay?
What about high banking? Does that require the permit? It says...
if you are high banking, if you do a small minor exclusion is not required if you're recreational mining, which means, quote unquote, does not use motorized excavating equipment.
Okay, so no excavators.
Does not use blasting agents.
No boom booms.
Yeah, I don't know if a Sierra Blaster qualifies or not. Does not disturb more than 100 square feet of the Earth's surface.
Okay, so a 10 by 10 hole.
Yeah. Does not dig more than 50 cubic yards of material at any site. It would be awful hard to dig 50 cubic yards and disturb less than 100 square feet.
I don't know about that. Now, that my question there is, if you have a site like Montana B, where the portal is what, 4 by 4.
Yeah, you'd have to do a lot of undergrounding.
Yeah.
Does not leave unreclaimed sites that are less than 1 mile apart.
Oh, good grief.
Does not use mercury.
Okay, that's easy.
Does not use cyanide or other metal leaching agents. I presume that means
That's
on
easy.
site.
Yeah.
Okay. Recreational miners may need other local, state, or federal permits to operate.
Okay, well, I want to get the chat box back, so if you don't mind, I'm going to close this. Or
Okay.
minus down.
Whatever you want to do.
Find everything here. There we go. Well, yeah, they don't want us doing anything. Ooh, the Black Hills are beautiful. Yeah, claim jumpers are getting to be a real problem these days. Wow, that is a big one.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is we are now getting into a difficult place when it comes to we have an inimical federal government. Our federal government has decided that it actively dislikes the people, which is not great. James, we tried to get the biggest scammers that were in the area punished by law. It's not very easy to do.
Yeah.
BLM will do nothing to help
Nope.
you, okay? We were all calling BLM because we had scammers that had paper staked entire precinct counties at the point and were selling all the claims, okay? And everybody was calling the BLM office and they were like, oh, well, sorry, we can't do anything. They won't even come to court to testify for you, okay? It is their fault this is happening because their records are not updated. So these scammers have a perfect doubt. They can stand before a judge and say, but Your Honor, I did my due diligence. I looked in the BLM records and there was no proof that there was no claim listed there. So I thought those were old stakes. And I just staked it, you know. I mean, with no up-to-date records, the scammers have an automatic out. It's, you know, and as Honey Bunny points out, a lot of these are actually also packed with disclaimers like it is up to you to do your due diligence and make sure that your paperwork is in order after you pay me $2,000 for this claim, you know, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, that sounds like good advice, Shane. Also, if you don't know enough about mining to be able to evaluate the claim objectively using your own resources, you might want to consider whether or not you want to do it.
Yeah.
Because you just, whenever you getting involved in something where you don't know enough to tell the truth from not, it's very, very difficult. Well, Dean, it's pretty easy.
Making a claim is easy.
Go to the
Well, not really.
BLM office around where you're at or whatever and ask them. They can give you the information on who regulates it in your state.
Well, Cutthroat, in that case, that was because they stole some equipment, okay? That's one place where you might normally get cops actually paying attention, but we have had problems with local people that were working for scammers out of, where was it, Colorado or someplace that they relocated to the second or third time. Anyway, these scammers are very well known. They've had a YouTube channel for forever. They sell all kinds of claims that are not theirs. And because they have 10 zillion
Not a bad
disclaimers and
idea,
everything.
Brian.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you can find, for instance, if we found a patented claim that had a tax lien on it, I'd buy the darn thing just for the land.
Yeah.
That's another mistake people make with patented claims, is they buy it looking at it as a mine. If it is not worth it as land, don't buy it. Make sure it's got water rights. Make sure it's got all the rights. Don't even buy it if it's not worth it for the land, because you don't know what you're going to find. When it comes to staking a claim, the first thing you're going to want to do is, yeah, exactly, Shane. They'll come up there, and the trespassing ones. The local mineral society was talking about that the other day when we were at the meeting.
What
They
did they
said
call those
cease
people?
and desist letters. They call them poachers or
No, it wasn't poachers.
no, it was
It's kind of like the Huns, so to speak, in terms of it was invaders or
Yeah.
scavengers or
Scavengers or something.
no, not that.
Well, anyway, there are people that go up there and have been working their claims. You know, that have been working on the Mineral Society's claims, and they send out cease and desist letters and such. No, they used a different word, Honey Bunny. It was something like scavengers or thieves or
yeah, it's the sort of thing like Vikings raiding a village.
yeah, raiders. They didn't call them claim jumpers because they're not trying to stake the claim. They're just going in there and taking stuff. You know, they're going in there and mining, prospecting, is what they're doing. But it used to be when the BLM records were up to date, you would check your local county recorder's office to see if there were any claims that were on file in the area that you wanted to stake a claim in, whether they were the specific coordinates you were looking at or whether there was just things there. You would go to the BLM and you would see what was in the area. You might go to My Land Matters, which is an excellent website generally. Go to your county tax assessor's website, because the county tax assessor knows the land status of every parcel of land in a county. And each state has a different blueprint that you follow for how they want things done, on top of the Bureau of Mines, BLM. So you can just call BLM and say, how do I stake a claim in this state? Or talk to your state.
Like, BLM will know who you need to talk to.
They'll know who to talk to.
But I say, typically there'll be a pamphlet or something like that. You know, you can probably just look it up on the internet. How do I stake a mining claim in Montana? Would probably give you the location of the document that goes through the whole process.
And the thing is with BLM now, Brian, is because they've been updating their website for several years now and they changed everything around, they're still years behind in updating their paperwork in a lot of parts of the country out here in the West. They're still years behind because somehow during COVID, when everybody was working from home, all of a sudden, nothing was getting done. Go figure. And it still is not getting done. Our local BLM office up here is still like a year and a half, 2 years behind getting the records in so that people know when they look whether a claim is active or expired or what.
Yep.
And yeah, that's the thing, Shane. Somebody was asking me about one that was in Colorado not too long ago. And they're like, yeah, this claim's for sale. It's supposedly a really cool gold mine. There's all kinds of bonanza grade gold and everything. And I'm like, well, does it have water rights? No.
Thank you, Doc.
Wait a minute here. Thank you, Doc. It's like, and I'm like, so wait a minute here. After I asked him a whole bunch of questions, it turned out that this patented mining claim was in the middle of a bunch of Forest Service land that no longer had access. There were no more active access roads. There was no water rights. And I'm like, so you're going to buy a piece of land in the middle of nowhere with no water rights and no access.
Cutthroat, the county recorder's office will be up to date on recorded documents.
Yeah.
And if they can, this is why if you're just paying your assessment fee, you need to file notice of intent to hold with the county recorder.
I mean, the county recorder will be up to date on everything that's recorded. But the other thing looking at here, I want to redo mining districts here too. I really want to get our mining districts going. And thank you, Doc. You are indeed awesome. I want to get our mining districts going again because we will all need the protection of mining districts. This is something that all of us should be working on wherever we are. Because the BLM is not doing their part. They never will. They have no reason to. They have no intent to. If anything, they just want us to go away. Counties can only do so much. Like, like Cuthbert said, we can go down to our county recorder. That's fine, great, and wonderful if you know what you're looking for and you know where you're looking. But that doesn't tell me if I'm overstaking somebody's claim.
Okay, just a second.
You know.
Hey, Doc, I got a question. We're pretty modest and stuff and everything, but how does this sound? We buy her 2 ounces of silver, and then we take the rest to go out and eat, which is
No.
plenty for us.
3 ounces of silver.
Well, it's up to Doc, okay? But as I say, we can easily eat for like $50 or something, $40,
Oh, absolutely.
you know? So is that okay with you? I know she would really appreciate that, and I would too. I do. I thank you very much for your generosity.
No, I mean, the thing of it is, you only see so much information when you go to your county recorder. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love our county recorders. Our county recorders are great people, okay? I mean, our county recorders are great people. They do everything.
Thank you very much, Doc.
Thank you, Doc. I am totally going to be getting... If he really insists on me getting some food, that's fine too. But... You grew 6 inches, huh?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Well, do you still have that space for rent sign between your ears, Joe Biden? No, we need to be working on getting our mining districts active again, wherever we are. We need to be allying in mining clubs, in prospecting clubs, with what's the name of that group? The Western Land Rights or whatever they are.
Public Lands for the People?
Public Lands for the People needs to get our volunteer time, our money if we have it, which most of us don't have the money, but we need to begin lobbying and advocating for ourselves. The big guys aren't going to because they're making more money elsewhere than they are in the U.S. They know there's no point in trying to get mines built here because we have no infrastructure left and we have a government that is inimical. So they'll go to Africa, they'll bribe a few people, and they're making money that way. The people and the infrastructure that used to serve everybody, the little guys, the medium guys, and the big guys, has long since been hollowed out. And the only way we're going to get it back is to begin lobbying and strongly advocating for ourselves. The time is rapidly approaching, people. The goddess is speaking here on this issue. The time is rapidly approaching when the great economic collapse is going to get to the point where they won't be able to stop it. And yes, our local BLM is in Billings, I believe. Isn't it, Bear?
Yeah, the main office, yeah.
Yeah, the main office is over in Billings. We have not been to the main office yet. We've talked to them on the phone. There's a couple of people over there.
Well, it's the Montana-Dakota office. It's also for the Dakotas.
Yeah, Dean, that does not surprise me. Rosemont Copper down in Tucson's in the same condition. They've been trying to stick a shovel in the ground over there for over a decade now. They're, I think, $500 million into the situation at the moment, and it's not working because the environmentalists are actually getting paid by the federal government to file lawsuits. So, just saying. That's just the way it is. But the economic situation is getting such that they won't be able to hold things too much longer. The goddess doesn't know. Do we have a mineral survey for Montana B? Brian wants to know, Bear?
No.
Nope. Montana B we have next to no information on. I wish. Okay. I'm pretty sure it would help too, Shane, but we got to get them going. And that's something that we all have to do because the big guys aren't going to do it. There are no middle guys left. The infrastructure that used to feed our industry has pretty much disappeared, went overseas. So we got to start from the ground up again, which is not going to be very easy to do. But in case you missed the news, the hedge funds, yeah. The hedge funds have been gambling with about $28 trillion of our money that they have borrowed from banks. And, yeah, that number has increased by 25% in the last year. So another very bad economic indicator has now gone vertical. Just saying, yeah. What can I say? Just,
No, Brian, it's
we call it Montana B because it's confidential.
Yep, the claim owner wants to maintain a certain level of confidentiality.
But yeah, we know all the names that this thing has actually gone by, or at least we're 90% sure we know the names that Montana B has gone by. And
The Bureau of Mines has nothing on it.
there's zero information. But that's an interesting thing that you see in Montana historical records anyway. Montana went through a boom where there were mines being patented right, left, and sideways, and mining claims being filed right, left, and sideways. A whole lot of stuff got patented right in our area here. I mean, Helena itself is full of patented mine land. And, yeah, it would, except that there is none. And the thing is, the records from the period were
Warehouse.
there was not necessarily standardization involved in how things were recorded, because if you actually look at the mining law that led to mines being able to be patented, it doesn't say much about how you're supposed to do this process. Like, for instance,
Montana B is not patented.
Montana B is not patented. That's why we have that problem. If it were patented, we'd be really happy. But the thing is, even the patented ones we have looked at, that is the funny part. There does not seem to be much in the way of standardization, as in how much of a mineral study needed to be done, or who it had to be filed with, etc., etc. Yeah, as Honey Bunny puts it, documents were open to interpretation. So, like, for instance, on some of the patented mining claims we have looked at just out of interest, we've seen huge, beautiful geologic surveys with all kinds of maps and sketches and mine this and that and the other things all over the place. Cross-referenced and this and that and the other thing with all kinds of supporting documentation. And in other cases, the geologic survey will be 3 pages of nothing. You know, it'll be 3 pages of, well, it was kind of this color and it looked like it might be this
The
kind
mineral
of...
survey he's talking about is the one that was
Yeah.
filed in order to get the patent.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I have seen mineral surveys that went with patented claims that were not very detailed at all when you think about it, compared to the ones that we have looked at. And that's the thing. And when it comes to Montana B, of course, because it wasn't a patented claim, there's no survey on it. And in the Montana state records, you find a lot of mines listed that were not patented, that had information, but it seems that there was some sort of a voluntary reporting system going on. That if you had a claim and you named that claim or whatever, and you were working that claim, you might decide to tell the state something, or you might not. You know, it's just bizarre.
Mr. Virtue, the stuff that we're working, none of it is untouched. It's just not patented. All the stuff we're looking at has old workings on it.
Yeah, and that's the thing is a lot of the unpatented stuff. Some of it you'll see the names appearing in the records. You'll see the names appearing in various records or in newspaper things or whatever on a fairly regular basis. You know, as an example, and this is just a fake example, the Johnny B. Good reported that they found 120, that they sent 120 tons to the smelter this year. And the Johnny B. Good is not a patented claim, you know. Or we met some men that were out at the Johnny B. Good, and this is what they found, and they're hiring out there right now. You'll find, in some cases, you'll find a lot of anecdotal things and a lot of what were apparently voluntary reports that, and even mineral surveys on unpatented claims. They do exist. Some of these unpatented claims we have found all kinds of information on. We found one single sentence, literally, one sentence that was just randomly there in some annual mineral report that the state put out in like 1927. And it's like, there was one sentence, really
Okay,
an unhelpful one.
let me just give you an example.
Here's an example for you.
I'm, of course, going to anonymize. The lodes at X, which is a short distance northwest of Y, were discovered nearly 50 years ago. This was written in the 30s. The camp was named for this guy,
Sit here.
who located the H lode about 1878. And it should not be confused with the district of the same name near another location. Mines on the lodes at this location have been operated intermittently. In 1926 and 27, practically no work except that necessary for annual assessment was being done. The lodes at this location, which this one was the most productive, are estimated by persons familiar with them to have produced $420,000, chiefly in gold. And there was a note on this that particular mine had ore running about $100 per ton at that time, which means that it was, 5 ounces to the ton. Here's another one. At 1,750 feet, it penetrates a zone of crushed rock with vein quartz about 40 feet wide. This zone is developed by the drifts mentioned. The west drift shows considerable quartzose vein rock. Moist stones have been made in several places. Okay? And there's no production records at all. Okay? So that's the kind of information we're working on. Look for affidavits for assessment work from those years in the 20s. I think at that time they were patented. I've got a map that shows an area that we staked that has a patented claim in the middle of it. However, that private property no longer exists according to, what do you call it? The Montana Cadastral. But that's not a bad idea. Chris says, look for affidavits for assessment work from those years in the 20s. Now, remember that those steaks that we found there from, what was it, the early 2000s?
Yeah.
We might have tried to, we might try checking that out too. These are the sort of things that are excellent to do in the wintertime around here when you can't get out in the field. Another thing is to check newspaper accounts and stuff. But right now, unfortunately, those records are currently in storage as they're building a new facility, and it'll probably be next year before we even can get them. Okay? So, yeah, see, it would be good for us to go to BLM in Billings and spend a day there looking at stuff too. There's all kinds of things that you can get done if you're actually physically there. In this case, the stuff at top of the hill, I think we'll be able to find a lot of information in the Bureau of Mines stuff, because it had bigger producers and stuff than the Montana B area. But again, right now, we're so busy doing field work, the idea is, we'll wait till wintertime, and that way we're not wasting valuable field time. Or, like Eva was saying, she wants to get those baby blankets over to Jimmy's house, and then swing by Butte on the way, that sort of thing, and make it a triangular sort of situation, about 60 miles a leg, which wouldn't be too bad. So, as I say, there's lots of different ways. The Montana Bee, which is what we were working on up till recently, we couldn't find anything. But this area here, I think we'll be able to find a lot more information. Okay. See, Chris is really good at this research stuff. He's really good with that. And
yeah, Chris is excellent.
I'm going to have to get better this winter. But, so, anyhow, we got lots to do. Let's say life is interesting. But right now, we're just kind of keeping up with everything and having a good time. We'll be doing more research this winter, that's for sure. It's also harder to report on research in some ways because by its very nature, it's not anonymized. So we'd have to do that. We couldn't show you maps or things like that. It would be a lot harder to make that. How's the sludge looking? Well, let's see if we can slowly the stuff we put the toothpaste in and then added water. Looks like it's got some on there, but it's sure not, clear. The stuff we put the toothpaste in, the viscosity is about the same. Thin, call it pudding.
Yeah, pudding.
Oh,
It's definitely pudding. I know it's pudding.
that's interesting. We'll check these out tomorrow. Oh. Let's see, put that over here. Anyhow, overall, life is good. But we got a lot of work to do. We don't have any breakthroughs where it's like, aha, now it's just a matter of making gold. But how educational would that be for everybody, huh?
No. like I said, I just want to find a crystal garden in place.
Yep.
I mean, it's,
So we'll keep you updated what we can. It's been nice to see everybody again tonight. Nice to see you, Chris. And as usual, you got lots of good ideas. I'm getting sleepy too, honey bunny. Does anyone have any other questions or subjects or anything to bring up here? And you got up before noon, huh? I've been up since 7 this morning, local time, and currently it's 9 o'clock local time. So, all righty. With no new subject showing up, I will follow Honey Bunny's lead there. Call it a night. Thank you all for showing up. And
thank you very much, Doc. I'm looking forward to going silver shopping.
Thank you very much, Doc. I appreciate it. So happy prospecting and keep it safe out there. Okay. Now you gotta kill the stream.